up with learning something. It's just how it goes. So I apologize that I do not pronounce it correctly. Second.
But like, if you've been told this since you've been on YouTube, like, why not just change it? I know it's not a big deal, but the point is, like, you're literally on purpose saying a word wrong because you think it's like funny and quirky, but it's not funny and quirky. It just makes you look dumb. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, if you don't understand or you don't know, it's one thing, but if somebody corrects you,
I was only 2 minutes late,
doing it, it just makes you look dumb. I don't get it. I don't know why you would like to come across as dumb.
Ornament gate is people saw that an ornament broke. I showed it to you guys. And people said, wow, why can't she pick it up? She's so lazy. Her pets are going to step on it, etc., etc. That ornament was instantly picked up. What I showed you guys was actually the ornament on the table. So what you're seeing is a table. I think ornament gate...
I mean, that is going a bit far-fetched, isn't it? Like, you can... I can drop something and take a picture of it and, like, make sure my animals don't walk across it. Understandably, the situation is a bit different because of rarity in her. She's not obviously paying a lot of attention to her animals, but... I mean, sometimes people do go a bit too far. Like, I'll be honest, sometimes people are a little bit nitpicky.
1 and 2 should be over now. So I didn't really want to talk about this because I didn't feel like I had to.
I recorded myself and my partner trying those cookies, and my makeup looks like absolute poop shit. Like, I look rough. Very rough. I blame Anna. But anyway, I'm thinking I'm going to make a quick short out of it and post it for you. Because I know you wanted us to... try the cookie. Sorry, I may have been mostly on time, but am I ready? No. Hello, Allie. Hello, Ruby. Hello, Kat and Janet and Alice and Chicken. Hey, Chicken, you're here really early. Hello, Adriel. Hello, Sangi. Hello, Lily and Lexi. Lexi, you made a comment that I liked. I mean, I liked most of the comments, but like yours, like, stuck out for me. Is Anna the new pet? Yes. Anna is my... Look, okay? Look. You guys will see these videos as they go up. But I spent... Well, there's 5 of them? 2.5 hours... Well, technically 3.5 hours reacting to Anna. All in one go. Because you will see these videos and you will understand. Because by the 6th video, because I'm in the same outfit with the same makeup, I'm pretty sure I look wilted by that point. Hey, Artemis. Hello, Leah. Suzanne. Oh, Suzanne Dunkel. And Daimyo. Guten Abend. Oh yeah, you guys can see that I'm watching it. I'm 13 minutes into it. Hey, she shouted. Not only did she shout me out, which I truly appreciate, but like she congratulated me on my 10K, which is just, I love that. That's like the perfect 10K celebration for me. But I will be making a cardboard button. I don't know how I'm going to display it in the background, but I will figure it out. And a human. I want to start going live for you guys more regularly. Hey, Curvey. And Horse and Rider Wellness and Ava. But the problem is like, I know as soon as I commit to a schedule, I will instantaneously be unable to keep the schedule. Hello, Smug. Yeah, I made it to 10K, everybody. That's amazing. And I truly appreciate it. I didn't expect to make it to 5. I thought I'd just kind of hover around the mid there and just be like, you know. Hey, Freya. Hey, Quirky. Well, I mean, you can always make your own. That's like... I know it's like a jokey thing because cardboard buttons aren't like actually handed out by YouTube, but I know that a lot of like channels, especially like the gaming channels and stuff that I watch, they'll all have, of course they all have their silver and some of them their gold buttons, but there's always like this like smaller cardboard button that's like drawn up there with a Sharpie and stuff, and I'm like, why do they have this? So I looked it up and I was like, I like this idea. I'm going to do it. Thank you, Ava. Yes, Lexi, 5 videos of Anna back to back, one of which was an hour long. The rest of them are roughly 30-ish minutes, give or take. but they need to be. They're shorter videos and they need to be. I don't think I could do it. Falling asleep instead of getting things done. I mean, I'm live streaming instead of getting things done. My toilet bowl cleaner arrived in the mail today, so guess who's not cleaning the toilet right now? Oh, Brioche! You are not too late. Oh, this is Lindsay. That's Lindsay with an A. I like your videos. I think you're funny. I've been watching quite a few of them. I hope I'm not like completely stealing your idea, because I suspect I might be, but like you're doing more of the fashion hauls. I kind of want to focus on her like Gabby videos where she tries to go off script kind of a thing. So use the back of a pizza box. You know what? I've got like a freaking million boxes because Christmas, so I think I'm just going to use one of those. Yeah, Lindsay's in the chat, you guys. Say hi, Lindsay. Well, say hi to Lindsay. Ruby. I gotta go. Minecraft and baking. Excuse me. I'm all over the place today, Zincat. I did hear that Shakara is pregnant, and I am absolutely ecstatic for her. I think she's going to be such a good mom, and I really hope she has like the easiest pregnancy ever, because I know even if you're like the healthiest person, you can have complications, or just like you just feel morning sickness like the entire time. Like I know there's all kinds of weird shit that can happen when you're pregnant. I have never been pregnant. I just know these things from the internet and all that other stuff. So, but I am super happy for her, and I again really hope it's just like the smoothest. I hope it's the trap baby. You know, I've heard about the trap baby where you have the first kid and the pregnancy goes so well and the kids just like adapt so well, and you know they learn to sleep through the night and they're just like the perfect angel, and you're like, yeah, this isn't so bad. And then you have the second kid, and the second kid is the spawn of Satan, and you're like, why did I do this to myself? I've heard these stories. I think they're hilarious because that's what happened to my brother. And I personally love the I like both of my nephews, don't get me wrong, but my youngest nephew, he is just a hoot. He's just the funniest damn thing. When he becomes a teenager, man, he is gonna like, we're all, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let me put it that way. Oh, Lindsay, you know Alan? I'm assuming, God, Roberts, Alan Roberts. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Quirky. Yeah, YouTube's like really pushing the goal setting thing. Let's see if I can get a cat. Your first baby was, it's the first baby that's the trap baby. If the first baby's like not good, that's not the right way to put it. If the first baby isn't easy, it doesn't count as a trap baby. Ragnar, you want to come over? You can have a treat too, but you have to get on camera. Okay, maybe I'll give a treat to a cat. Your brother is cursed. You're 6th child out of 10. Dang, Smug. My partner's the 2nd out of 6, so I am the only child, but I have 2 sisters and a brother. Don't ask. It doesn't make sense. It has been a day, Rocky. It has. Rocky, I didn't know that you were like further along the life cycle than me. I thought we were roughly the same age, and now I feel like my world has been shattered. Would somebody come here? Kitty, 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 kitty. Anybody? All right, give me a second. I'm gonna go get a cat. How is this? I didn't. Giving me something good. All right. Oh yeah, now you're interested. Yeah, see? Here. You gonna sleep up there for me? Thank you. You can only have another one if people give you one. Yes. Hey, not my tail showed up. And cat whisperer, and now he's gonna walk on my desk. Uh-huh. This is how we're gonna react, apparently. Your butt. Cause you're a butt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright, so other reactors that I'm enjoying watching. This is okay, Rachel. You gotta pick a name, man. I gotta stick with one. We've watched Rachel twice now. Thank you. I appreciated that. She did 2 really good videos on Amber and feederism. I see the super chat. Here we go. Look. Put your head up here. Oh boy. Did you chew it? Or did you just inhale it? It will taste better if you chew it a few times. Anyway. I've created a monster is what I've done here. So she did 2 really good videos on Amber and feederism. I'm pretty sure we watched both of them. And let me catch that super chat before it gets too far up. Hey, it's Smug. Thank you. And the cat would thank you if he had manners. So Rachel has now, I guess I'm going to call her Rachel for now. She's done another video comparing Amberlynn and Eugenia Cooney, yes. And a lot of people do compare them because they are both like opposite sides. If you lay down, they can see you. I know. Crazy thoughts. They're like opposite sides of the same coin. So I hear a lot of people compare the 2 of them together. That's not so bad. Because I can see him still. I have personally never done it because I don't like Eugenia because she scares me personally. Alright, cat gets another treat. You gonna sit there? Can you sit there and eat the treat? Can you sit there and eat the treat? You eat it like a good boy? Oh, we actually chewed that one. No, don't go too far up. Thank you guys. You can have more later. You can have more later. Tiny was 2 minutes and 4 seconds late. But I thought it would be interesting to watch this one. But I also want to polish off Colin's, I'm just going to keep talking like there isn't a cat in my face. I do want to finish up Colin's lipedema video. Hey, Cloak on Cloak. Because I think it's a good video. And we're like, I think we have like an hour of it left. I'll promise not to talk as much because we do want to finish it, but... Oh, thank you, Quirky. I just thought it would be goofy. I tried it out last stream and like as soon as I got done saying I will give the cat a treat, somebody donated like immediately, so. But yeah, Eugenia just makes me uncomfortable. There's the Discord. And if you haven't joined the Discord, there you go. But I have not watched any of this video that I'm looking at right now. I have watched Colin's video all the way through. I'm sorry, Shakara. We'll come back to you. Well, I'll come back to you. Excuse me. Colin. There we go. Gee, can you see what I look up all the time? Yeah, I don't have any kind of like, as far as I'm aware, I don't have any kind of like EDs or anything like that. So I'm just kind of like guessing. how it is, because I do have other things. You know, nobody gets out of this planet unscathed, but so I just kind of like compare it to things. But God, Eugenia just like, she sets off my, I just can't handle it. Anybody remember where we were? Oh God, we were not that far back, were we? Okay, it's just the neighbor upstairs. You were 24 now, and you've known Eugenia since you were... Wow, she's been around that long. Okay. I will say this about her. I am impressed. How to put this lightly? I am impressed that she is among the living still, considering her incredibly advanced stage of the thing I can't say on the internet because YouTube. I'm just absolutely stunned, personally. I am of attitude, we see you. Oh, MySpace. And my tea's cold. Join the Discord, we have cookies. Do we? Do we? We have sass. We got quite a bit of sass. You know the way he's standing, it makes it look like Colin is his head. Aw, man, you ruined it. I'm gonna be looking in the shadows. I'll chime in if something pisses me off. Hey, that sounds like me. Yeah, he's a good boy. He knows where the treats are, and now he's waiting for one. But, okay, so, how to do this, because I want to do both. I honestly thought we were further along in Colin's video than we appear to be. So, you gonna get down? You know, I'm only letting you break the rule because you're on camera. Get down. Thank you. He knows he's not supposed to be up here. Colin cat hybrid. Oh yes, the shoes song. I wondered how many people would get that. Get my very dated reference. No shot. Okay, Smug. I'm watching a guy. His name is Random Planet. He does gaming. He focuses a lot on like horror games. And right now he's playing 7 Days to Die, and he was playing Project Zomboid. Anyway, he says no shot a lot. Where does that come from? I figured it was just like internet slang for I can't swear right now, but is it really just kind of a thing that people say? Like dead ass? Yay, cat here. I don't hate that later. All right, let's see. Let's do Colin. Let's do Colin first. Let's do about, because there's no way in hell we're going to finish it. Let's do about a half hour worth of Colin. And then we'll jump over to Rachel's stuff. Now, Rachel was calling herself Rhetoric Toast or something like that. I really like that name. I thought that was a lot of fun. The ankle also says it? Interesting. No fleek. I don't think that's a thing, BJ. I don't think you're gonna make fetch happen. Lee. Yes, the shoe song. Oh my god, shoe. I'd play it, but I'd probably get hit with copyright. Oh, he does, doesn't he? No Love and Fear. Shauna Steele says no shot too. I don't know what we're talking about. Me saying no shot every time I get... Maybe it is an internet thing. I am monetizing my cat's eating, yes. Can I get him back in here? Anybody else want a treat? There are 3 of you. You can have it, you just have to be on camera. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, we both know you can jump up here. You, here. Come on. God, you're so heavy. Why do you weigh 19 metric tons? You there? You say hi. You say thank you, Zingcat. In camera. It's in my palm. What? No, it's wait. Oh shit. Here, it's right here. Smell it. That's my thumb. There's the treat. There you go. See, the problem with cats is that the closer you get to their face, since their eyes are set differently, they can't see things that are real close up because their eyes can't see them. So when you're like this close to him, he's just going by smell. And my fingers apparently all smell like cat treat. So he's trying to eat me. You think it comes from Call of Duty? Okay. Oh. Are you securely up there? Because you almost ate dirt there a minute ago. You good? Okay. I do have to bribe him to stay in frame, though. You don't understand. Please don't knock my tea over. That's all I'm asking. All right, let's do a little bit of Colin then. And we'll talk about whatever comes up in Colin's video, because I believe we have to have a discussion about questioning authority and who has the right to do so. And when and where. And I'm sorry, guys, this is just how it's going to have to be.
The chemical in apricot seeds, amygdalin, also known as laetrile.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're at the part where he's talking about Karen Herbst recommending apricot seeds for weight loss. So, hello, Monica. There's absolutely no chance that something happened or is true. The phrase first gained popularity when it was heard echoing from a shopping container in Texas? Shipping container. Interesting. I'm gonna call no shot on that. Now what are you doing? You are really distracting. This was a terrible idea. Yeah, I see your tail. I see it. I do. Get down. Down. I know, I just made you get up here. He's very confused now. Anyway, we were talking about that. So if you are lost, here's the, anyway, never mind. If you were lost, just, write it. It'll all come back around.
Or vitamin B17
left off a cyanide.
is, first of all, not a vitamin, but it is a popular alternative treatment promoted mostly for cancer. So it's weird she's recommending it for lipedema in the first place. More importantly, aside from the cyanide poisoning risk, it's never been proven to help with anything. That can be said for a lot of the supplements Dr. Herbst recommends in this talk.
Horse chestnut seeds? Rapeseed. What is that one? Especially good for itching in the tissue due to its anti-histamogenic properties. You know what? Dosamin? I've not heard of these. I've heard of grapeseed extract. I don't think I've heard about the horse chestnut thing.
And while there has been some research that shows possible benefits to taking some of these supplements, the evidence isn't strong in general and completely untested for lipedema. The most I can say based on my research is that a lot of these things probably won't hurt you in recommended doses. Even 2 small apricot seeds may not hurt you in the long run, but are lipedema patients just supposed to be choking down 8 million different supplements every day?
Where the hell are you buying apricot seeds? Like, they're toxic. And yeah, they may not take down a full-grown adult, but if a kid gets a hold of that, of course, there's a lot of stuff on the market that if a child got a hold of it, it would not be good. But just like, why would you sell something that turns into cyanide? I don't understand. Apricot seeds. Looks like almonds, taste bitter, might kill you. Yeah, exactly. Not had it raw leafed. I don't know if it's actually true that it's poisonous. The rhubarb. I don't know if that's a Old wives' tale or not. Yeah, I mean, grapeseed oil is not bad for an oil. Amazon. Please tell me it's not on Amazon. Are rhubarb leaves actually toxic? Are they like... Yes, thank you, Jessie B. I got this at, yep. That place. Torrid, like a million years ago. They're roughly the same. Idiot witch. Apricot seeds and peach seeds. Yeah, most people don't like the pits. Well, you have to like crack the hard outer shell of it to get to the actual seed.
With lemon water, that's a big ask. So where is the evidence that this is helping them? And I know I'm just inviting a lot of arguments about how these supplements really do help.
Yeah, Colin.
I clearly haven't learned my lesson from previous videos. And if they do help you, I'm glad. But my point is, I think a researcher, a doctor, should not be recommending potentially dangerous doses of vitamins, supplements that haven't even been tested for lipedema, and, you know, cyanide. As far as I'm concerned, if my doctor recommended all this stuff, I'd be out the door fast looking for a new doctor.
My OBGYN, I went in to discuss estrogen treatments because I'm old. And because I have ocular migraines, I'm not allowed to have estrogen because there's a real strong correlation between ocular migraines, estrogen, and stroke. So my doctor doesn't want to kill me, basically. Go figs. But so she recommended these like really expensive supplements, and I've been taking them for 3 months at this point, and personally I don't, other than draining my bank account, they haven't done shit. So I don't know how to feel about that one. I also don't have a lot of options, so it's my she's my OBGYN or nothing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with like using grapeseed oil. Sorry, I was doing amberisms. Grapeseed oil in like there's a lot of grooming products, especially hair products that have it. It's good that my doctor, yeah. Until you actually want, you know, like estrogen, you're screwed.
The most troubling part of this talk for me is that the audience is full of patients. And what if one of these patients goes to their doctor and says, hey, I eat 2 apricot seeds every day. And their doctor says, please don't do that. It could be dangerous. One would hope that the patient would take their doctor's advice, but, well, I think there are a lot of lipedema patients who take whatever Dr. Herb says as gospel. And what's more, so many lipedema patients are already skeptical of doctors because they feel dismissed and gaslit by them.
And she told me, I hate all doctors, but the only doctors that I love are Dr. Herbst and you. He's both so kind to me.
That's a very common thing I've heard from both patients and specialists. Even the standard of care mentions that lipedema patients, quote, frequently find themselves blamed for their condition, end quote. When,
well, including self-blame. There's something to be said about the amount of time that a patient spends with their, especially their GP. Like when I go in to see my OBGYN, I know I keep going back on her, but that's because like she's the one I've seen the most. But literally I'll go in for like a counsel, like when I went in for the estrogen stuff, it was like speed dating. She's just like, bam, 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 bam. And I was like, okay. And then she like told me about these, but she gave me the pamphlet for the vitamins. And then I was in my car going home and I was like, what the fuck just happened? I had questions and things did not get answered. Now I go to my GP and they'll take all the time in the world with me. I mean, I'm sure there's a point where they'll tell me to go home, but like they'll keep asking me questions even when I clam up, but yeah, the benefit for me would outweigh the risks, but this is a conversation for a whole other time, honestly. I have only started. My fight for estrogen has only begun to start. Yeah, comment or Kim, she has kind of the personality of House. Like she's a good doctor. She did my surgery. I had no issues. She's a good doctor. She's just not friendly. Wow, your parents let you eat them. Well, maybe your parents didn't know. I didn't know they were poisonous until I was an adult either, but I never ate them. I never ate the seeds because they were hard and they hurt. The estrogen for Chinese 2025. We'll get there. We'll find some kind of... We'll find it. We'll get there. Unity. All right, anyway. This is why we never get through Colin's video.
That's the general attitude towards many doctors. I don't personally trust that patients listening to this talk would take their own doctor's advice over Dr. Herb's. After seeing this talk, it was really hard for me to take Dr. Herb seriously anymore. Maybe
Gee, I wonder why.
her other research was well done and scientifically sound, but I wondered if that was likely in the light of this talk. At this point, I was skeptical, but I was still willing to hear her out about other things. I genuinely believed that Dr. Herbst was just trying to ease these patients' pain and discomfort in any way she knew how. And as much of a red flag as I thought a lot of these suggestions were, I wasn't ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. So I went through pretty much every video featuring Dr. Herbst that I could find just to understand the mechanism behind lipedema, even if it was just a reasonable theory. And I sure did find theories.
You have to, you, the individual, have to be skeptical of everything that you hear. And if something doesn't make sense, especially in the medical fields, ask more questions. Just keep asking questions until it either makes sense or you figure out it doesn't make sense and you get to a different answer. Like, just keep asking questions. Is he standing in front of an actual brick wall? Sir, you have to get yourself a printed one. Get with the times. Amber probably has some estrogen. I don't know what's up with Amber. I don't know. I don't know how she functions. I don't know. She bitches about her hair being shit, and yes, her hair is shit, but her lack of estrogen does not help. So
you're, instead of your body
we're just gonna let this play out because you guys will have to listen. He's got her sped up, so
mounting an immune response against a bacteria or COVID-19, it is actually mounting a response against your own self-esteem, how you feel in your body. So if I could go back in history, the one person that I would choose to meet, at least today, would be Hippocrates. And Hippocrates said, all disease begins in the gut. I would talk about leaky gut and people would tell me there's no such thing.
there is no such thing.
But now we know that's clearly wrong.
No, we don't. There's still no such thing. There is no such thing. All right, anyway.
That there is such a thing as leaky gut.
I encountered leaky gut way long ago when the paleo movement was very, very new. Like, it was just starting to get its feet under it, right? Rob Wolf and all of them. So anyway, I listened to that a lot. I actually did like research into this kind of stuff. Like, I literally wrote papers in school about it. Got good grades on them too. And this whole concept of leaky gut, I didn't realize that it was supposed to be an actual, like, legit medical thing. I thought it was just a way of describing how the gut microbiome was not working properly. I thought it was just like a throwaway term. I didn't realize people were actually taking it as like a diagnosis. And it's like, all right. So I don't like using leaky gut anymore because there are other things that are wrong with you. Leaky gut is not a thing. Anyway. That would be amazing, Adriel. Colin just casually filming this in front of the CVS. Lineup wall. So here's the thing with Amber and her estrogen, because, fat, adipose is hormonally active and it produces estrogen. So in a weird way, this is just me thinking out loud. I don't think this is, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. So in a weird way, since she is super morbidly obese at this point, is her fat stores actually producing estrogen to replace the estrogen that her lady bits are no longer producing? I could be very, very wrong, but that's just like in my thought. It might be like two completely different things, two different types of estrogen, that kind of a thing. I wish there was a genuine screaming emoji for when she speaks. Slippery genome of dogs. What?
Compartment syndrome may play a role in lipedema pathophysiology.
And these fat cells become deranged. And they start secreting hormones, and they're not good hormones.
Estrogen's not bad for you.
If you've had childhood trauma, that can lead to chronic inflammation. I think acupuncture would be great to try because I think that it does help move qi. Or you can look at IgG delayed allergy or delayed hypersensitivity reactions. And this is the test that a lot of traditional doctors don't like, but it can be useful for some people.
Traditional. The first time you hear somebody say that, traditional or mainstream, just take like 10 steps back. Back away slowly, keep your hands in the air, do not make eye contact. Those two terms. Or alternative. Alternative is iffy, but
People, especially if you have signs of irritable bowel syndrome. And if you find that on your IgG food allergy testing that you react to every single food, then you likely have leaky gut. There
no, you don't.
are also viscerosensitive nerves in the tissue that let you feel.
We're going to look at this picture for a few minutes because I have the potty humor of a 5-year-old. And I want you all of you, to focus heavily on that red object right in the middle of the screen. I'm just saying. Thank you. I'm glad the rest of you are here with me. I think I've tortured everyone long enough.
Feel what's going on in the extracellular matrix.
Oh, I can see what the extracellular matrix is feeling here. Jesus Christ. Whew. Did you have to make it bright red?
And I swear, whenever I eat ice cream, I can feel
As a woman, this is educational.
my butt growing.
It seemed with every talk I listened to, she said something weirder and crazier. Aside from some of the stranger things she said,
Nibelina.
I will say some of Dr. Herb's theories don't seem incredibly outlandish, but these ideas are seemingly random and contradictory. It feels like she's just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Is lipedema caused by hormones, or is it compartment syndrome? But wait, if it's compartment syndrome, why does it pretty much only occur in women? And how does any of this relate to leaky gut? And if you weren't aware, leaky gut syndrome is a completely hypothetical and unproven condition. It's also another red flag for some alt-med practices. Dr. Herbst even said most other doctors don't believe it exists, and yeah, there's a reason for that.
Because there's literally, I've read 3 papers now that were legitimately trying to find leaky gut, and they could not. So they could not find something that couldn't be classified as it's something else that was already identified. Ergo, leaky gut is not a thing. But anyway. I don't know what's happening. Is that a deranged cell, or are you just happy to see me? I was gonna say something important. Oh, so here's the thing. Colin is a skeptic, like diehard, and that's wonderful, and I'm not slamming it. I just want you guys to understand where he's coming from. I am also a skeptic. I'm very skeptical, but I have a very strong belief in the placebo effect, and to the point where I'm like, if it isn't hurting you and you think it's helping, knock yourself out. As long as it's legal, everybody's consenting, and all of that good stuff. It's above board. Go for it. You want to do acupuncture because you think it helps you out, knock yourself out. You want to take mega doses of whatever, as long as it's not toxic and it's not killing you, knock yourself out. You're an adult. You can do what you want. Do I believe that they are actually helping you? No. I think the placebo effect is helping you. So as long as it's helping and not hurting, go for it, because it's not hurting me either. When you start getting into things where people are taking like eating seeds that turn into cyanide. I feel like I should say something at that point. Like, that is an actual legit toxin. We should probably talk about you not doing that. You know, things like that. Anyway, I just wanted to... Yeah, Ava Bella, yeah, she's a specialist. She's not a specialist about gut bacteria. She's a lipedema specialist. But she's trying to connect... I guess she's trying to connect lipedema to leaky gut, which leaky gut doesn't exist, so there's nothing to attach lipedema to. I see you, Ava Bella.
To be clear, increased gut permeability is real. It's
Yes.
a symptom usually associated with things like celiac or Crohn's disease, but there is no good evidence that increased gut permeability is a disease in itself,
Right.
much less that it's involved with lipedema. I had to wonder where on earth Dr. Herbst picked up all these weird things as a conventionally trained scientist. And since she is a scientist and seemingly respected in the scientific community,
Alyssa.
does she say these kinds of things in her published papers? And I can tell you now, not really. Her papers are not quite this wacky, at least not so obviously.
Chapter 9, Dr. Herbst's Research.
Whenever you hear Dr. Herbst and many of her colleagues talk about lipedema, something's always leaking.
But you see this area here? We think that's fluid.
Dancing fascia in lipedema? Really? Okay. I don't do wet works, I do bones. Fascia and bones shouldn't move. That's like a bad thing. I've heard of using acupuncture on horses. Started doing acupuncture, he was able to sweat again during treatment. And that's cool. Like, again, I am not an acupuncturist, don't know. I just have a lot of skepticism when it comes to it. I do remember one time seeing a paper that had studied acupuncture as a form of pain control. And because they were doing the whole like meridians and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, yeah, it did help with pain, but not because of the meridians. Because they did a sample where they were hitting the meridians, and then they did a sample where they were just like sticking needles wherever. And it turns out that the low level of pain that acupuncture produces kind of works as like a dopamine release, which can help you deal with the larger pain of whatever the hell's actually going on. It doesn't matter where you get stuck, according to this paper. It doesn't matter where you get stuck. It's just the getting stuck part. Like the low level of pain from the acupuncture is actually producing pain tolerance, right? So that's the one paper I saw about acupuncture where I was like, all right, well, I mean, it does something. It clearly does something. It's not doing the thing we think it's doing, and it's not doing it for the reason why people tell you it's working, but this is samba or merengue. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I didn't know they moved.
In the fat tissue, and in this little dark hole here, we think that's a vessel.
Okay.
And that vessel has leaked out into the fat tissue here.
Leaky lymphatics, leaky vessels, leaky fluid. It's
Cupping is painful. Well, okay. I'm with you, Rosie. I think cupping looks painful.
all different phrases for the same thing, which is edema. A huge piece of evidence that edema is involved for Dr.
Doing okay, Rocky? Oh, yeah, Lee, the sham acupuncture, the poking with a toothpick. So I guess if you're into that kind of stuff, like those roll mats, those beds of nails that you can buy, apparently they're good for you. I mean, not good for you, but they're going to help. You know, I wouldn't want, like, your kids jumping on you while you're laying on them, because I figure that's going to hurt. Sorry. Alyssa. Dun, 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 dun. Now, every time you think of fascia, you're going to see, like, dressed up in a flamingo outfit. Linky sink. Fascia Congo line. Dun, 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 cha. She makes you angry. Well, don't get angry. Trust me, don't get angry. It doesn't do you any good. Well, Tarkham, sometimes we think is about as good as you can get, which is usually why any good science or any good medicine will tell you at the clinical research level, usually there's a line somewhere in that paper that says further research is necessary. And it's because we can never say for a fact that we are 100%. Even gravity is still technically a theory, right? That doesn't mean gravity doesn't exist. I'm just trying to point out it's really hard to get a good scientist to tell you something is for sure 100%. There is always a possibility that it's wrong. There's a possibility somewhere out there that gravity is not what we think it is, or it doesn't actually even exist, and we really are being held to the earth by invisible noodly appendages that keep us from floating away. What are the chances of that? Very slim to none, but, you know. But that's why you'll see a lot of people say, you know, like inconclusive or we think or further research necessary. No, hit the like button. Thank you, Daimyo. There is a difference between anecdotal and scientific evidence, yes. Yes, I would always prefer to take, in certain fields, I would always prefer to have hard data over soft, but I'm also an anthropologist, so it's like I can take soft data as well, depending on what I'm doing. Oh, the cupping, like, man, if you again, if it does something for you, what, do your thing, you know, you do you. I would hope you're not doing the one where they like slit you slightly and bleed you. That I feel like we need to have a talk about. But if you're just doing like the regular form of cupping, you know, Amber's entered the chat. Where? You know, knock yourself out. Maybe the earth is flat. Well, it's possible. And also an organ. Usually from pressure exerted to it by surrounding muscle tissue. Yes. Well, Lee, I mean, science is expensive too.
Herbs is the presence of lymphedema in later stages. If you'll remember, the presence of both conditions is often called lipolymphedema, but Dr. Berich and the ILA think that phrase isn't accurate.
Please forget the term lipolymphedema. Lipolymphedema suggests that lipedema leads to lymphedema. Lipolymphedema suggests that lipedema is the cause of lymphedema, but we do not have any scientific evidence for this popular view.
As we've already discussed, obesity-associated lymphedema is a long-proven condition, and I personally find that explanation very plausible. But Dr. Herbst believes that not only does lymphedema occur in advanced lipedema, she also thinks that edema is present even in the earliest stages, although it can't be detected. She wrote an article called Lipedema and Obesity. What's the link?
I don't like stuff like that. I just got done telling you guys I'll take soft science sometimes because that's how I'm trained. But I don't like that. You can't detect it, but it's there. Then how do you know it's there? If you can't detect it, it's not there. That's like the definition of it existing. I can detect the invisible gases that are in the air around me. That's how I know they are there. Well, I can't personally, but there is a way to do that, right? If there is no way for you, the doctor who is studying this, who has the equipment and the ability to detect said thing, cannot detect it, Occam's razor says it doesn't exist. Just saying. Or there's an invisible teapot circling the sun. Just saying. It's just, it's shit like this. I did this for a long time. I did the skeptics thing. I did this, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I really did. And I'm really thinking about going back to it. I never thought that I would be taking those skills and bringing them into girl world. These five videos I'm getting ready to post on Anna. I look like I'm losing my mind because I am, but at the same time, I'm having a really good time just debunking the shit coming out of her mouth. I said invisibility, cloak, and lightning fast reflexes. Yes, exactly. Viable but non-culturable bacteria now? Is that a thing? So, I mean, look, soft science is still science, okay? I will defend my field to my last because I spent a lot of money to have that piece of paper.
Which you can find on the website Obesity Action Coalition. This article is about 10 years old now, but I've heard her repeat a lot of these same points in recent years. She says, quote, female or gynoid fat under the navel, on the buttocks, hips, and thighs gives women their attractive curves. Excellent scholarly writing, Dr. Herbst. Gynoid fat increases during puberty and
is this in, well, this is on the okay. I'll give her this much. This is on her website. This is not an academic paper. If she had said that in her academic paper, in like the abstract or even the conclusion, I'd be like, all right. I mean, you're the headliner. I guess you can say whatever you want.
is smooth and soft in texture, but not all gynoid fat is the same. For example, what if you could not lose gynoid fat with strict eating and an intensive exercise regimen, and
then you're not strictly eating or you're not exercising as hard as you think you are. If Cisco, calories in, calories out, if it didn't work, as lots of fat acceptance and apparently Karen Herbst would like us to believe, then medically assisted weight loss would not work either. Because all forms of medical assisted weight loss, Ozempic, metformin, the surgeries for the stomachs, all they really do is make it so that you don't eat as much. And once you stop eating as much, you start to lose weight because it's calories in, calories out. Okay. So, well, when you start stripping, Smug, let me know because I want to hear you announced when you come out onto the stage. And now, everybody, gynoid fats. Alyssa's back on the diagram. Anyway.
And instead, the fat continued to grow no matter what lifestyle changes you tried, end quote. Yeah, Dr. Herbst, what if that happened? It would certainly be a medical marvel if someone could break the laws of thermodynamics, but she goes on to insist that the swelling and lipedema is due to increased hyaluronic acid. And I can't say for sure if she's right or not, but neither can she. Dr. Herbst doesn't provide any sources in this article. Not a single one.
This is a... All right, the way this is laid out, this article that he's showing us right now, this feels like something that was published in like that in between publications where it's not academic, like it doesn't count as a journal, but it's written in a way to kind of talk to people outside of the field. And like the SAAs have one. I forget what the hell it's called because I haven't been an SAA member in years. But it's just like this little paperback. It's not the actual journal. The actual journal will cost you $400 a year for no reason, in my opinion. But anyway, another conversation for another time. But this little paperback that you can get, it's a very slim, but everything in there is written by professionals, by archaeologists and anthropologists and folklorists and that stuff. But it's written in a way that anybody should be able to pick it up and read it and understand what's going on. So there might be less jargon. It's more approachable. It usually is broken up like this. And it's the coloring. It's the two columns. It's the two columns and this, the coloring here. That's what they look like because they're supposed to be friendlier to read. If you've ever seen an academic paper in any field, just looking at it, you go, oh, Christ. And then you have to read it. So. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you've ever had to read anything, you guys are forming a team. Stop. I don't know if trade magazine's the right... I don't know, Lee. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. It's like one step above the Smithsonian magazine that you can buy on the shelves at any bookstore. Like it's one step above that. So it's more academic, but still doesn't count as like an actual published paper because there's no reviewers.
But Obesity Action Coalition is a nonprofit not a medical journal. I get the impression that while Dr. Herbst is giving her expert opinion here, it's still that, an opinion. I would argue that she should still provide evidence for these claims regardless, but fine, I'll give her a pass. Then, in 2020, Dr. Herbst published another article titled "Lipedema is Not Just Fat" on lipedema.com. She makes the same case about hyaluronic acid, but she expands on what hyaluronic acid is. It's a type of molecule in the body called a
Called GAG. The synonyms for things. That's not a synonym. Acronyms. The acronyms for things. The American Society for Microbiology has a magazine. Okay, is it like written? Lee, I think we're talking about the same thing. It's like written by professionals or by actual researchers and stuff, but it's in a very casual tone, and it's not technically aimed at peers. It's written in a way that it's aimed at people outside of the field. So look, when it comes to like medicine and stuff, yeah, I would prefer it to be a hard science over a soft, like Alyssa. I'm starting to see a pattern here.
glycosaminoglycan, or GAG. Dr. Herbst then talks about how excess fluid in lipedema is bound to those GAGs in a gel around the fat cells.
How did you manage to do this without saying gag every time? I wouldn't have bothered. I would have just leaned into it.
And that's why it can't be seen with any imaging techniques.
Also why Colin is the adult in the room and I am not.
She explains the lymph fluid in lymphedema is free flowing within the cells, which is why you can see it flowing easily on imaging like ultrasound, for example. But if the fluid in lipedema were inside this gel, not flowing around within the body...
Delicious. Okay, Lee and I, we're on the same page then. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too about the hyaluronic acid thing. Like, I actually use things that have hyaluronic acid in it because it's supposed to make me look youthful. Don't I look like I'm 18? Tell me I'm pretty. Anyway, I know it's a very popular, like, beauty additive.
It wouldn't be as easily detected. But the problem is this entire article, much like the last one, is chock full of speculation. You don't have to be a scientist to figure that out because, once again, she's not citing any studies to back up these major claims. Don't get me wrong, there are indeed citations in this article, but...
That is not the same. We just went through Anna's fucking book. You all should know this by now.
She's using these citations for general claims, like describing how ultrasound is used to see lymphedema. But as far as her specific claims about fluid bound up to GAGs in a gel, there are no relevant studies to be found. For example, she writes, quote, "Lipedema, loose connective tissue, generally affects the limbs, sparing the trunk, hands, and feet. If the hands and feet of women with lipedema are not affected, then where's the fluid?
In space.
We think the fluid in lipedema is bound to glycosaminoglycans in the extracellular matrix."
Okay, so this is one of those times where they say, we think, and you need to question it.
End quote. No citation for that claim, and who...
I use snail slime too, Frey. I've used it before, yeah.
Who is we? Dr. Herbst is the only author on this article, and...
Look, Dr. Herbst clearly has a mouse in her pocket, therefore she is two beings. Or she's counting all of the microbes in her gut, yes, well, that too. And therefore she is multitudes. Ergo, she can refer to herself as we, should she so choose. Was he an anthropologist? There's this really famous social scientist, I think he is. I couldn't tell you his name if I had to. But anyway, he was like that cusp of Victorian going into the modern era. And he would write papers about his topics of study. But the custom at the time was you had to have a co-author at all. Like every paper had a co-author. You wrote with someone. And this dude didn't want to do that. So he put his cat's name as his co-author on all of his papers. And so whenever you see a paper by this guy, if the co-author is probably his cat, it's one of the most cited cats in history. It's just, I'm like, that is fucking brilliant, and I'm going to do that at some point in my life.
And she doesn't cite any studies that back her up. But I've come to find that she uses the phrase "we think" quite often. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit to a section titled "Evidence that lipedema has fluid bound to GAG." That sounds promising.
Have we proven that Have we proven that GAG is a thing? Like, are we making arguments, we being the global us, are we making an argument about lipedema using unsubstantiated other things as evidence? Like, have we proven that GAG is a thing? I'm just going to keep repeating myself, apparently. Sorry, y'all had to see that, but it had to happen. Anna's co-writer was Data. Possibly. It's a real thing. The kidney co-author is a real thing.
First, she defines edema as...
Yes! Yes! Good job, Idiot Witch. Good job. Can I highlight that? I want to see if I can, like, find a picture. Because there is a picture of him and the cat. And it's not like Lovecraft and his cat. Yeah, F.C. Willard was a pseudonym used by Jack A. Hetherington, a physicist, there we go, mathematician at Michigan State University, for a co-authored paper in 1975. Hetherington's cat Chester was the inspiration for the pseudonym. Chester's father was named Willard, and Hetherington used the initials FDC to stand for Felis domesticus Chester. I thought he did it more than once. I'm looking at the AI though, so it's only going to say so much. But yeah. Where's the picture? I thought there was a picture. Show me the picture. I know. I really wish I could turn the AI thing off. I really don't like it. No, I guess there isn't a picture. That's too bad. Too bad, so sad. Yay, Rocky's been a member for 15 months. Holy crap, I've been around for over a year. Yay. Lee's got it. You're welcome, lovely little William. I don't, hey, Ragnar. Oh, he squeaked at me. He's so cute when he squeaked. You want a treat? You want a treat? Come here. Come here. They're both looking at me. Neither of them are moving towards me. There we go. Got your attention now, don't I? Come here. Come here. They can't see you. Hang on. The worst thing ever. But look. Look. Wait. Look. You can have another treat. Here, see? That's my finger. Please don't eat me. That's the tabby. He hates being held. So I hold him all the time. I am that guy. But thank you for that. His citations need more. Who? Leaky brain. Oh, GAG is a thing? Okay. Alright. That makes me feel a little better, though. Because it was feeling like she had just, like, come up with some other shit in order to support her argument.
As an excess of interstitial fluid. Then she describes how there are two types of interstitial fluid. One is the free-flowing type, the kind you can see in lymphedema, and the other is the type bound up in a gel with GAGs. Sure, that's stuff we've already established. Then she says, quote, although there are not a lot of studies on GAG and lipedema, we can learn about how GAGs function in other edemas, end quote. Huh? So basically, Dr. Herb's evidence that lipedema tissue has excess fluid bound to GAGs is that it would be technically possible. She's essentially saying, we don't have any evidence of this, but here's what it would look like if we did. I think.
Okay. Yeah. I'm replaying things in my head. It's not quite the invisible teapot. It's the argument that it's a logical fallacy, and I can't remember the name of it. But because it happens in other situations, it must be occurring in this situation. I think it's like the fallacy of similarities or something like that. I don't remember. I had to look them up the other day because I was fighting with somebody. Anyway, yeah. So she's not quite saying, well, she is saying, trust me, bro. It's the trust me, bro fallacy, I guess. You're picturing me with my cat. The white cat used to go out into the field with me, actually. He used to be Archeo Kitty for a hot minute. Oh, actual research. Now you're asking too much. Hey, Elizabeth Peters. If the tabby's a daddy's boy. If I were my partner, he would sit in his lap all night long. Me, not so much. The term for that logic fallacy is circular logic. Is it? Is that the right one? Yep, sure. I will believe you and not look it up. Oh, Alyssa, it's genetics and lighting. That's what it is. That's math. No, it's a logical fallacy, not math.
I think the rest of the scientific community has a different definition of evidence, Dr. Herbs, but okay. All right, y'all. One more paper. Actually, 2 more papers, but in the same category. Dr. Herbs is well known for making a connection between lipedema and hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
We also know that women with lipedema have hypermobile joints.
If you are
Why is it only hitting biological women? Like you have to either be or have been female in order for this to affect you. There is a handful of cases of men who get affected by this. And I do believe at some point, Colin even says, those patients are all morbidly obese or obese at least. So what's happening, I would assume, is the overproduction of estrogen causing the lipedema. But why? Why aren't we talking about that? I want to know that. I don't want her to talk about invisible fluids and gels and shit. I want to know why it's only affecting half the population.
Are familiar, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, is the name for a group of genetic connective tissue disorders.
Logical phallic. Yes, that's what it is. That explains the diagram.
The hypermobile subset of people with this syndrome have flexible joints, to the point that they hyperextend past the limits of a typical joint.
I'm demonstrating elbow hypermobility in this patient with lipedema.
They're usually
I'll even get the arm fat out for you. That seems pretty normal to me. I don't know about y'all. Like, I don't know. Ow, that hurt. Sorry. Yeah, Hillary, yeah, it's odd that the focus of her research seems to be what it does, not the why. Yeah, if you're really wanting to fix the issue, wouldn't you want to know why? Because again, if it's purely an estrogen thing, which it kind of sounds like it is. Again, I'm not medical at all. I'm just going off of what I've heard. So it seems to me the solution would be to curb or remove excess estrogen, right? And there's ways to do that. I am so sorry. But I'm just spitballing. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't know how this shit works. Yeah, Max the best boy. The estrogen might be the key. The hype, after all. Post tissue produces more estrogen. Even a minute. Yeah, adipose tissue produces more estrogen. Yeah, it's hormonally active. Yeah, the arms. No. That was bat. That was a bat wing. It's not as bad as Amber's, but it's there. It's okay, Max. I use text to speech all the time. I get some really interesting words that I don't ever say. Sure, charlatan. Okay, so maybe I don't understand what it means to have a hyperextended joint. That could be. That was me. This is me locking my arm. My arm's locked here. I cannot bend it. If you were to force it, you would probably break my joint. You can extract the estrogen and give it to Tiny. Look, I got enough of that shit on me. Maybe that's why I don't need it. I'm carrying my own estrogen around. Yeah, Amber's arms are shocking. But anyway.
More severe symptoms too, like chronic pain and dislocations. The standard of care lists obesity, lymphedema, and venous disease as comorbidities with lipedema, and I've seen just about every expert acknowledge these.
Bingo wing is also acceptable, Lee.
But the standard of care also lists hypermobility as a comorbidity, which is something
non-lipedema, obesity, lymphedema, venous disease, and hypermobile joints are comorbidities. Lipedema tissue is difficult to reduce by diet, exercise, or bariatric surgery. Okay. It just says difficult. Difficult does not mean impossible. PCOS makes losing weight difficult. Like, it's not impossible, right?
Something pretty unique to associates of Dr. Herbst. Right now, in her circle...
Alyssa. Sorry, man. It's the feral chat. As long as you guys don't say certain buzzwords, we're good. Hey, Diary's here. You call yours bat wings. That's right. And after you can pin them, you can stretch them, and then you're like, flying squirrel. If you were to do that, I would die.
Hypermobile EDS is acknowledged as a comorbidity, but Dr. Herbst believes there may be a stronger genetic connection.
Hypermobile joints could be a sign that there is a connective tissue disorder in lipedema. And connective tissue, again, is everywhere in our body.
At first, I thought this was really compelling because Ehlers-Danlos affects the connective tissue. And like Dr. Herbst always emphasizes, fat is a connective tissue. There are a couple of studies that support this theory. And I do mean a couple of studies. Whenever you see literature about the...
I mean, if they're good studies, that's how it starts. You have to, it starts with one and then goes from there, right? Somebody has to put the idea forward, and then it's got to get tested. Call your batwings Horace and Bob. I appreciate that so much, Sengi. Hey, textbook. Oh, you're getting your nails done? Yeah, so like Rocky was saying, like their knee goes back past a certain point. And I know that's a thing in ballet. It's actually kind of like they want that you want to have that natural hyperextension for some strange reason. But anyway, that's what I thought it was. But that woman's arm did not look like it was going any further than mine.
Link between lipedema and hypermobile EDS, they will nearly always cite one or both of these two.
Don't spoil it, Candida. Actually, I've already watched this once, so I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it at least once by now.
Studies. Lipedema, fat, and signs and symptoms of illness increase with advancing stage from 2015.
No fair quoting yourself. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I ran into. I didn't do anything this deep, but why was I even looking it up? I was looking it up because of Anna for some reason. I don't remember why. Everything I found has Herbst's name on it, which is really difficult because it means she's quoting herself, which is fine. But if you're the only person putting out work that finds these things, and there is research countering that, not supporting, countering your paper, your idea, that's a bad thing. Oh, it's not bad, but it means you are probably not in the right unless there's some magical twist. I mean, sometimes it happens. It does. This is why science is never 100% sure. Sometimes it happens. She could be absolutely correct and everyone else could be wrong. It's possible. But in research and stuff like that, even in anthropology, you don't want to be quoting yourself and like nobody else. She doesn't have anyone else to quote. Her name's on everything. Even if she's just signing off on it as like a supervisor, her name's still on it now. Like, anyway.
Or differentiating lipedema and Derkham's disease.
Yeah, it makes pretty legs and ballet. Yeah.
It's from 2017, both by Dr. Herbst. In the 2015 study, about 50% of the lipedema patients were hypermobile. In the 2017 study, it was about 58% of the lipedema patients, compared to about 23% of the Derkham's disease patients. But there's one really important piece of data missing from both of these studies: a control group. The 2015 study only looks at 51 lipedema patients, no healthy controls. The 2017 study looks at 160 patients with lipedema, 94 patients with Derkham's disease, which is another fat disorder, and 18 patients with both diagnoses. In this case, comparing lipedema and Derkham's disease is slightly better than the 2015 study, but not really, because a true control group should have neither condition. And I should also point out that these two studies are not about hypermobility. Those statistics are basically just footnotes that are not explored any further. And how did Dr. Herbst determine hypermobility? She used the Baton scoring system. Because, just like lipedema, hypermobile EDS is a purely clinical diagnosis. There's no genetic test like with some other types of EDS. So clinicians will often screen patients using this Baton scoring system.
This is one of those times where we're using some soft science to back up some hard science, I guess. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. I think Colin does point out what's inherently wrong, but there's nothing inherently wrong with having... Basically, you got to eyeball it because there's no genetic test. So you can't take my blood and find out my thyroid. Well, you can. You can find out my thyroid doesn't work. I don't know. I haven't gotten my blood test yet. It'll happen. But you can't tell that I've got hypermobility. So they've got a checklist so that the doctor, whoever's diagnosing it, can make a call. The problem here, what will happen is you will have the diagnosing doctor, Amron, says Anna has hypermobility. And then Anna goes to see a real doctor. And the doctor uses the same criteria and says, no, you don't have it according to my opinion is you don't have it. You know, that's the second opinion thing, but it's just, you know. I'm watching a series on cold fusion. I don't know. I love his Bobby Broccoli.
Which assesses the hyperextension of certain joints. There are 9 possible points you can score, and 5 out of 9 is considered hypermobile. And this is the same threshold that Dr. Herbst used. One problem with the Baton scale, though, is that hypermobility also might just be really common. A lot of people are hypermobile, and it's actually hard to tell how common it is. I've seen studies show a prevalence of anywhere between 2% to 57% of the population have general joint hypermobility, and other studies show percentages everywhere in between. There is more scholarly debate about the Baton scale, and I actually covered that in another video that I'll...
Damn it. Gotta go watch another video. Colin.
Link below. I'm not saying we should throw out the Baton scale. I don't think anyone is arguing that, because I do think it's useful, but it's troublesome to me that the Baton scale is the only metric used in these two studies.
Okay, so I know I keep pausing. It's because Colin keeps making points that I can make across everything. So fat acceptance will constantly bitch and moan about the BMI. And they'll call it all kinds of names and try to debunk it and try to be like, it was created by a sexist, racist white man who was only looking at the body composition of white men. And it's like, okay. I've already done a video on this, so I won't link it down below. You have to go find it yourself. But anyway, fat acceptance is always bitching about the BMI. And they're always like, oh, it's the only measurement of health that doctors use on you. So it's like if you know that my BMI is what was it at 33, then that's the only marker of health that my doctor takes, that's not true, right? But that's the problem. This would be that situation. There is only one test to determine hypermobility, and it's an assessment, not an actual like test, like a genetic marking test or anything like that, or So there is no way to compare someone's score on this Baton hypermobility score. There's no way to compare that across to something else. You always want multiple points of data no matter what you're doing, because if you only have one, what if the reading's bad? You don't know because you have nothing to compare it to. Sorry, I'm fidgety. This is why I don't have chairs with wheels on it, except for this one. But that's what the fat acceptance is trying to make you believe doctors do. They just take the BMI and tell you that you're obese. I am. I have had this discussion with my doctors, right? So, but it's not just because my BMI is a 33. Okay? They know what I look like on the inside. They're doctors. They have measurements. They have eyes. It's just that kind of a thing. There are multiple points of data that your doctors take to determine your overall health, and they always will. Your blood tests, your blood pressure, that time when they stick the little thingy on your chest and go, take a deep breath. If you can't breathe, also, they have eyeballs, okay? If you're morbidly obese, I can probably tell you're morbidly obese. Well, yeah, Rocky, but that's the whole get a second opinion thing. Colin is doing clickbaiting. You doubt very much that Anna's doctors have done less research than Colin. I would hope they've done more research than Colin. Not knocking Colin. I mean, this is a really great video essay that has been very well researched and is very well presented. It's a research paper done by someone outside of the field. Right? You would hope someone like Karen Herbst could put together a presentation just as good, if not better, because they have firsthand experience with whatever the topic is, right? So, oh yeah, I saw that you were talking about your body scan thing. I kind of want to have a DEXA scan just because I'm really curious. I know it's going to show me, but I just kind of want to see it. Yeah, the fat acceptance community will say anything in order to not take responsibility for the fact that they are morbidly obese, and also not have to face the truth that they have to lose the weight or they're going to have shit health. Have they done the same amount of critical thinking? They're not thinking critically. They're thinking monetarily. Yeah, I mean, if you shop, yeah, exactly. If you shop long enough, you'll find a doctor who will side with you. What did Hannah say? My shrinker. That's funny. That's funny. Oh yeah, some people can do tons of research but still be biased in their interpretations. That's why I always tell people in my videos, I'm a participant observer, right? So my observations are colored by the fact that I participate in girl world, right? Colin stated at the beginning of this and several times through his video, he is a skeptic. He is coming at this from a skeptical perspective, which means off the bat, he is not primed to accept whatever. He's not going to trust his sources just because they have a couple letters in front of their name, right? And that's fine. That's a bias. I think it's a good bias to have. Someone else might not, you know? What will it color his eventual conclusion? Possibly. That's why you state your biases. You know, if you get to the end of Colin's video and you're like, well, he was going to find all this negative stuff anyway because he's skeptical of it to begin with. I mean, if you think his bias is going to affect his outcome, you have an argument. But if the rest of us go, nah, actually, he did a really good job of doing that, and you're just not wanting to see that he did a really good job disproving whatever. This screen. I mean, your videos are cool if you want to do that. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see the inner workings of people. Fudge. My view of herps is... Yeah, exactly. Herps found a niche that rarely gets looked into, doesn't have a lot of naysayers to push back, and will accept her narrative as the gold standard. Yeah. I don't know what you said, Lee. We should all be skeptics.
High Baten score itself is not usually considered sufficient to diagnose EDS. Usually, a clinician will look for other symptoms and also rule out other potential causes for those hypermobilities. You know, differential diagnosis. Dr. Herbst does say in these papers that the high scores indicate possible hypermobile EDS, but there have been no formal attempts to confirm this. I should also point out that standard of care doesn't say hypermobile EDS is a comorbidity. It says hypermobility in general is, and it uses these studies as evidence. But I would argue that even that is a problem. Maybe it's true that lipedema patients are more hypermobile than average, but these studies also didn't prove that. But Dr. Herbst and her associates used these studies to make the case that lipedema is a connective tissue disorder because of this possible link to EDS. To me, this claim seems premature at best, but lipedema literature, especially in the US, is littered with it. And on top of the...
Because Herbst's name is on everything. And Herbst... I think I said this in a video way back in the day. If you're the authority, if you're the gold standard in any field, people have to go through you to get anything, you know, any theory you come up with or any counter argument that you come up with is going to immediately be compared to whoever the gold standard is. And when you're the person who has control of the research, you even get to say, nah, I'm not even going to let that go to, you can't even print that, you know, you can talk about it all you want, but you can't print it, you know? So that's why you have to like really be okay with challenging the narrative, right? Sometimes the narrative's right. Sometimes challenging the narrative is the right thing to do. I mean, anthropology is going through some really rocky shit right now because a lot of different groups have decided to challenge the narrative that anthropology pushes. And you have to be there to really understand that argument. But the point is, for a long time, these people were just told to sit down and shut up and suck it up. And they don't want to do that anymore. Completely different topic or subject, but it's the same topic here.
EDS, Dr. Herbst and several more people in her sphere promote that there are more comorbid conditions of lipedema.
I'm going to be giving a brief overview of hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, mast cell, and POTS. I'm noticing more awareness of this group of related inherited syndromes that overlap with lipedema symptoms and comorbidities.
Would you like to guess how much evidence supports these claims? I'll tell you this, there's even less evidence than there is for hypermobile EDS. I've just wondered for quite a while what made Dr. Herbst consider testing for hypermobility in the first place. Then I found out she herself has hypermobile EDS.
And I don't know if you know this, but I have hypermobile EDS and I wear
did
compression.
not know that.
Yes, I do. And the funny thing, I was diagnosed in 2016 and I was going through the Biden criteria for all of my patients.
Keep that number in your head. She wasn't diagnosed until 2016. Goonerette says, where'd it go? Goonerette says, I would like to think Herbst knows what she's talking about, but there's just something about her I don't trust. And then says, maybe it's something to do with Anna. Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem with influencers like Anna and Amber losing credibility in the eyes of their audience. Everything they say or do or recommend is going to be looked at far more critically than it would if, I don't know, you guys are always like, this is the best, what is this, lip oil? Glow Reviver lip oil. This is the best lip oil on the market. Why even bother buying anything else? You know, it's not. It's good. It's good. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the best. I don't know. I haven't used every lip oil on the planet. But that's my thing. Like, a lot of people will go, oh my God, Tiny thinks this is the best lip oil ever. And suddenly Elf is selling out of Glow Revival lip oil. Because, okay, that did happen. Not from me. Some influencer on TikTok said that this Glow Revival lip oil was good. And, like, finding this motherfucker was so hard. I had to wait 2 weeks. Anyway, but the use of popular culture is suspect. Yes, suspect the popular
and
culture.
I would do everything and say, this is how you do this is how you do that. But I wasn't thinking that I have hypermobility.
I'm not sure what to make of that coincidence, but there it is. I think it would take me a lifetime to unravel the tapestry that is Dr. Herbst. That clip was from a podcast called the Bendy Bodies podcast, which is obviously focused on hypermobility. And this podcast appearance was very telling. It seems Dr. Herbst believes that the possible connection between lipedema and EDS also explains why lipedema progresses.
When you have connective tissue mutations, you have a loss of elasticity. So it the tissue doesn't bounce back like a rubber band. And so fat grows and the body goes, okay, I'll be.
Does my slime have lipedema then? Because it gets less stretchy over time too.
Compliant. I'll handle that. If it doesn't have that skin, that tension in the skin, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And then you can't lose it.
Yet another theory. Keeping in mind that I'm not an expert, I think that theory sounds ridiculous. Skin laxity allows fat to just keep growing forever. Fat is energy storage, so where's the energy coming from? And why don't other people with EDS also have the same problem? Stretchy, lax skin is a problem for many types of EDS. If skin laxity is the problem, why don't they have the same symptoms as lipedema patients? At this point, I am sick and tired of saying source, because once again, she gives none.
Cite your sources.
I mean, this is a podcast, so I don't blame her for not referencing studies for everything she says. It would be really clumsy in this format. But I do think it's notable that
I don't care, you should still do it.
The only studies she does reference are the 2017 one that I've already mentioned, authored by her, as well as another study of hers that's yet to be published.
Between the two, it's just nobody's found it yet. And not a lot of other people are looking at it, which, I mean, we've published now 3 different papers where we state that about 60% of women have this, and then the latest is not published for 75%. Why aren't other people looking at it?
Oh, and she does reference this.
I have a friend in Spain, and he says it's about 80% in his population.
Wonderful citation, Dr. Herbst. I'll go look that up right now. Dr. Herbst's friend. And by the way, I was not able to find any.
Dr. Herbst's friend in Spain, thank you. She narrowed it down for you to at least part of the world. Stop it. Whatever.
study that showed that 80% figure. Does
Yeah,
it
she
not
cites
also seem
herself.
strange that as the studies go on, the percentage of hypermobility just keeps going up? And even if it were true that 80% of lipedema patients have hypermobile EDS, that doesn't mean EDS causes progressive fat growth. I think it's already questionable whether the correlation is that high, but taking that one piece of data and extrapolating it the way that Dr. Herbst does seems wild to me. My main takeaway with all of these little rabbit trails into Dr. Herbst's research is that she often makes major claims with little to no reliable evidence to back her up. Those 2 studies into hypermobility are certainly a good starting point, but they lack sufficient evidence for the types of claims she makes elsewhere. But Dr. Herbst...
Lee's comment here is, yeah, there's a tendency for true experts in one field to think that they can speed run expertise in something else, and they tend to become quacks. See Linus Pauling and vitamin C. I also think of, like, I don't know how hard you guys run in the skeptic circles, but Dawkins. Dawkins is a biologist. Yeah. But either way, he starts commenting, people ask him stuff about skepticism, which he also knows quite a bit about, right? But they'll ask him about scientific things outside of his field. He's not qualified to talk about it. I mean, he can talk about it, but he's not qualified to talk about it. But he speaks as if he is. I think he believes what he says when he fucks up like that. And then when he gets called on it, he turns, anyway. But that's the thing, like, your expertise is, her expertise is lipedema, I'm guessing. Anything outside of that, she shouldn't have an opinion for, or she shouldn't be giving it as a doctor, like eating peach seeds or apricot seeds. Okay? That's not what you do. Your wheelhouse is over here. This is a different wheelhouse. Yes, Clancy, other professionals do call her out on this stuff. Colin's been showing one. Yes, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah.
States things like EDS is a comorbidity. Oh, sorry. We think EDS is a comorbidity, and we think lipedema is a lymphatic disorder, and we think lipedema does occur in the abdomen, as if these are just scientifically proven facts, but that's just not true. All of those papers seemed pretty suspicious to me, although I'm not an expert. But even as a layman, I do understand how good studies are usually done. Dr. Herbst has also published many, many other papers in different areas of research, and I can't vouch for how well done those are because I haven't dedicated months to checking them. She very well could be an excellent...
Colin, you had 4 to 6 months to put this paper out. Are you telling me you did not do your due diligence here? Colin, I'm very much kidding. You need the site that she is quoting from? Her own site.
Researcher elsewhere, and these less reliable papers could be the exception to the rule. But even if that were the case, there shouldn't be an exception to good science. Even though I have issues with these papers, I couldn't help but notice that it seems Dr. Herbst is a lot freer with her words in the YouTube videos than she is in scientific publications.
That... Yep, it's staying up. This is the thing I was talking about. I'm going to not look at the screen. He says she's more free with her words when she's talking to the public than when she's speaking to her peers. I would expect that. That's... in any other situation, that's good scientific communication, right? She's able to communicate what she's talking about to people outside the field, lay people, right? And a lot of scientists don't even bother to try to even do that, which is why a lot of science doesn't get out there and isn't known. It's also why pseudoscience is so rampant, because the people who do know about it don't communicate with the public. And so people who just make shit up and have fancy letters in front of their names, they'll get traction. And the problem is now that Herbst is so ingrained in this, now you have to have professionals who are willing to go to toe to toe with her to debunk her publicly. Else, she will always be considered, a folk hero, right? That's funny. Okay, Dr. Oz, great heart surgeon. Yeah. Well, he's gonna be. What is he getting? I don't want to talk about it. Oh yeah, Ben Carson. Forgot about him. Didn't he get taken out by COVID? Anyway. I will not be shunned. Anyway, I think I made my point.
And I swear, whenever I eat ice cream, I can feel.
Every time he plays these videos, he just turns her up a little bit notch, and she sounds like she's sucking on more and more helium as we get through this video.
My butt growing.
Now that's just my opinion. Clearly Dr. Herbst knows her words are online forever and she would very likely stand by them no matter what. But personally, I find it interesting that there's a huge difference between the Dr. Herbst of scholarship and the Dr. Herbst of the lipedema community. I think Dr. Herbst is a lot more willing to make unfounded alt-med types of claims when she's surrounded by like-minded peers and patients. You probably won't find her talking about traditional Chinese medicine and ice cream butt in a medical journal. Of course, she is a widely respected scientist, and she knows well enough to couch a lot of her more bizarre statements in things like, this claim isn't proven yet, or this treatment may work, but we don't know for sure.
Are you, Alyssa? Are you?
But with that in mind, I found it fascinating that Dr. Herbst was saying a lot of these kooky things on channels run by a company called LymphaPress. LymphaPress produces compression pump devices primarily for lymphedema and venous disease, but they've also...
This is the thing that, I don't know if this is the exact thing, but this is the thing that Anna got fitted for, and horrifically hit on the poor guy who had been sent to fit it to her. But
also expanded their marketing to lipedema patients. These pumps are wearable devices that inflate to create pressure similar to MLD, so patients can do this at home. Like a lot of companies, LymphaPress has their own YouTube channel called LymphaPress Global, but they also have another channel called LymphaPress USA.
Okay, LymphaPress Global has 569 subscribers as of the time of that screenshot. LymphaPress USA has 7.26k subscribers. That's a lot of people.
And another channel called the Lipedema channel. And
that one has 2.52k. I'm very bad at math. Like, I have dyscalculia. So I don't really know what that number translates into in the real world. But I know those numbers are big.
They also have a podcast called the LymphaPress Podcast. Very creative titles, I know. These various channels do discuss the products, but they also feature a...
It's called branding. You find them by branding. If you type in LymphaPress, you're going to get all their shit, because all of their shit has LymphaPress. If you type in Tiny Blue Anthropologist, all the shit's going to be me because I'm branding it. There's not that much out there. Don't worry about it.
A lot of educational talks, like those by Dr. Herbst, if you use the term educational loosely. Now may I introduce you to Brenda Viola, former VP of LymphaPress's Marketing and Communications Department, and current professional yes woman. Brenda is now president of her own communications company, but it seems she's still like host for hire on the majority of LymphaPress's
Boy, that blurred out background just makes everybody looks weird.
Videos. Watching these videos is a very bizarre experience because there definitely is a vibe of education and care, but these videos give the disclaimer that they're not medical advice. Obviously, these are still, well, ads for compression pumps. Marketing medical products is weird no matter how you do it, but it is sometimes necessary, especially in the US because of our for-profit healthcare system. So I can't fault them for that, but it's just so funny to watch Brenda interview an expert or a patient and go, yes, active listening. And that's why we recommend this wonderful LymphaPress product.
Bum, bum, bum. What kind of podcast do you want to have, Lee? I can help you get started. All right, that's enough for Colin today. I know we didn't get far. Don't judge me. I do want to do some of this. I want to do this one. I want to talk to Rachel again. I like talking to Rachel. She talks back. But I'm going to go to the bathroom first, so. And I don't want you to watch me because it's weird. Well, okay, let me. If I had a cat, I'd give you cat cam, but none of them are around here right now. Think. I see all of you. Okay, what did I fuck up? Because I clicked something. Yeah, whatever. We'll find out as we try to do it. I'm sure I'll find it. The void. I guess I do need my glasses. Oh, come back. Well, we probably won't get through the whole video, Andrea, but we're definitely going to watch some of it. I'm not doing a podcast. Oh, that's what you say now. So I have thought of doing a YouTube channel reading. Oh, that'd be fun, actually. I would 100%. See, that's the thing with the YouTube channel now, though. I don't like this, but podcasts are basically just videos now. Because I have one that I update here and there, and you can just upload it's just your YouTube video, and you can, if you start a YouTube channel, you just put them under podcast, and they're treated like a regular video. So it's like, okay, podcasts and long form videos are basically the same thing. So see there, Lee. If you were to do the Victorian mystery novels, which I think would be amazing, it would be a podcast. So, ha! Outsmarted yourself. Alyssa. I have a podcast. I have a couple. They're mostly, I don't keep any of them up to date right now. I do try. I have been putting some stuff up on the paranormal one, but it's like once every 2 months or something. Anyway, this is Rachel, aka Rhetoric Toast. It was either Rhetoric Toast or Toasted Rhetoric. I can't remember, but either way. So this is a new video for her. Alyssa, have you watched Rachel? You're gonna chapters. Oh, look at that. I really do need to get better about chapters because I really enjoy it when I see it in people's videos. She says, hello and welcome. This is published today. Oh, this is published today. I don't want to do that. Somebody yelled at me for doing Colin's video. It wasn't Colin. Colin did not yell at me. Someone else yelled at me on his behalf. I'm having a moment. How long's it been up? Dude, she's got 16.9k subscribers. Go Rachel. Go Rachel. It's your birthday. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up doing it. Apologies in advance. You can yell at me. I promise I won't do it again. Hello and welcome back. Buckle up because in this video I discuss the similarities between Eugenia Cooney. God damn it. Cooney and Amberlynn Reid, with reference to their content, childishness, influence, pets, and strange mother-daughter relationships. I don't think Amber's relationship with her mom is that strange. Though I have seen things about Eugenia, and I have seen the interactions between her and her mom through that lens, and it does seem weird, but yeah. I don't honestly think Amber and Mama Lynn's relationship is strange, given the circumstances, and even not given the circumstances. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Your thoughts and opinions are always valued in the comments. Well, I got news for you. Make them inspiring because your girl is looking for new topics to cover. All right, so there's an assignment for all of you. Come up with new topics for Rachel to deep dive into. Well, minor deep dive. Medium dive? But yeah, give her some ideas. And I probably will steal those ideas too. I would like to see her do one on glitter and lasers just to see if she sees the same thing I do. So, I mean, I know I make the joke of like, Anna is mine and no one else can react to her. I know I make that joke, but it's not real. You've already watched your video and liked it. Yeah, I'll give it a second watch. I will watch it a second time because I'm gonna do this a little bit. Put that into an AI generator. I like AI. Don't you test me. And there's sources. These are good sites too. Tandem Online. I don't know if the PubMed's one are good, but Springer's good. Ooh, did she pay for that? Did you pay for that? Oh, that's dedication. There's a paper I want to read in the worst possible way, and even I won't pay for it because they want $34 for me to download one PDF. No. Sage Journal, you can go sit on a sharp twig and twitch. Anyway. Medium dive is a sprint. I'm not. No, I can't do Eugenia. Sorry. All right. I'm going to speed her up. You can get it's not a PubMed article, but I will take you up on that. It's a anthropology journal and they're firewalling it because they always do. It's just what they do. That was much harder than it needed to be. Might have university. See, I don't have that anymore. I used to be able to have it, but they don't like me anymore. I graduated. Clancy.
That, in my opinion, Amberlynn Reid and Eugenia Cooney, for all of their physical differences, are actually extremely similar. Would you believe me? What if I argued that they're boring content, vapid personalities?
So, yeah, but, yeah.
Suspicious mother-daughter relationships.
I know she eats. She takes good care of herself.
And horrendous food issues make them, although not exactly the same, extremely similar.
Wow, she actually, had food touch her lips. God, she's like... Here's the other part about Eugenia that just blows my goddamn mind. She looks in a mirror and she likes what she sees. I think Amber's the same way, and Rachel's probably going to make that argument, and I'm getting out ahead of it. But yeah, you guys want to email me? I'm going to do this. I will warn all of you, both my DMs on Instagram and my email. I am absolutely horrible at checking. And now I don't remember my email. Is it just Tiny Blue 8? I think it is. Oh, I think it's Tiny Blue Dancer 8. Don't remember. You know what? If you want to just DM me. I can't remember my email. Anyway.
Although they look about as different as two people can look, the pair are cut from the same concerning dysfunctional cloth. In this video, I'm going to assess the question, to what extent are Amberlynn Reid and Eugenia Cooney the same? Just to warn you, this is going to start out light but get darker. For a gentle start, one of the most obvious similarities between these two is their content. Both post long, boring content where they put on makeup, talk about their hair, show us the stuff they've bought, and go about relatively normal daily activities
Discord's
like visiting
good too.
Walmart. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with this content, and some people seem to really enjoy it, but it isn't exactly a stimulating watch. Somebody commented on an Amberlynn Reid video saying, "Girl, no wonder reaction channels get more views than you nowadays. You were literally just sitting in the same spot for 20 minutes straight, talking about anything. Go outside, vlog, do something." On Amberlynn Reid's recent video where she's talking about how her girlfriend Emily bought her Billie Eilish tickets, somebody comments, "This is the longest, most boring story I've ever heard." Somebody else says, "I'm literally watching on playback speed too, and I'm still bored as fuck." You would think, as it's their literal job, that they would make more effort to do interesting and entertaining things. To be fair to Eugenia, she does go to some places that Amberlynn could never dream of, like Disneyland, for example. But even when she is somewhere as magical as Disneyland, she still somehow manages to make the content boring. There are often lots and lots of words being said, but nothing of any actual substance.
And yeah.
Not only is the content of both women painfully dreary, but they spend most of it staring at themselves in the viewfinder. Look how obsessively Eugenia stares at herself in this video.
Nobody should be surprised about Eugenia, body checking 24/7. If you told me she didn't, I would be surprised. I would call you a liar. Yeah, you can throw it up in the Discord. That's good too. I'm not undressing. I'm just trying to clean my glasses because I can't see. Yule Cat took out Krampus. Yeah. I love both the Yule Cat and the Krampus. They are friends in my house. I think you're absolutely right, Smug. I think that's the difference between Foodie and Amber. Amber has a high opinion. I think Foodie doesn't like herself. And I'm just going by she is so hypercritical of women. There's no way she's not looking at herself with that same lens. Yes, Elizabeth. Okay, look. It comes off harsher than it's supposed to. I've had people mail me things that I would rather have not received. It's just kind of, it's a thing, and I don't know. Yes, all right. Well, I will remember to go check my Instagram after this. No promises. I replied to somebody on Instagram whose message had been sitting there for like a month, and I felt really bad.
It's almost like she doesn't give a crap who she's talking to. She's filming entirely for her own pleasure and to hear herself speak. Amber does the same thing.
Not me using you guys as a mirror.
Often preening and posing and using the viewfinder as her own personal feedback loop. Somebody comments of Eugenia, "Am I nuts, or does anyone else feel like they're watching someone flirt with themselves? Every minute it's eyes to the camera, pulls a face, then twists the hair, all while talking absolute shit."
But yeah.
YouTuber Oh Lordy It's Geordie also comments on this in one of his live streams where he watches the Eugenia Cooney video. You can hear him explain how confused he is that she just stares at herself the entire time she's filming.
Yeah, it's gonna hopefully be.
Okay, I mean, is this girl talking to us, or is she looking at herself in the mirror?
Yes.
I mean, we're not even a minute into this video, and it's just herself checking herself out. I mean, like, what's going on?
I did some research on how being chronically online affects the psyche, particularly of women. Permit me to share this short excerpt with you from a 2011 study. Links to all my sources will be in the description as ever. The study is called Coalescing the Mirror and the Screen, Curating Oneself Online.
I know this paper. We have both read this paper now. I do actual research. do sometimes about the shit I talk about.
Means putting two things together. I didn't know that. I had to Google it. Rockamora writes, "Modern society has a primordial relationship with the mirror and the screen." Just to add, I also had to Google what primordial means, and it means something that's happened since the beginning of time. The screen, where we watch ourselves, is just as destabilizing as the mirror in which we first observe our physical embodiment. One of the things that hit me when reading this study was the word destabilize. Look at this clip where Eugenia Cooney is looking at herself both in the viewfinder and in the mirror. She is the embodiment of Rockamora's claims that observing ourselves both in mirrors and on screen can become a catalyst for self-obsession. We see this in an
When you guys talk about the filters, I hear Milk Tea talk about this a lot with Foodie and her filters. This is why we're never getting through this video, by the way. She talks about how Foodie doesn't know what she actually looks like anymore. Like, she doesn't recognize herself anymore because she's seen her own image with that filter on for far too long at this point. And that this is kind of the same. Oh, it's exactly the same situation. Eugenia is checking herself through the lens and through a mirror, and the lens is a mirror for her, as opposed to Amber, where the camera is it's a portal to the people, to her friend, the internet. So but it's the same loss of self going on there as well. So
Amberlynn video too.
Okay guys, so I have not been filming lately, and yes, I'm currently wearing a crown. I have not actually vlogged in a few days.
Yes, Lee, exactly what Lee said.
And I just like hop back up on here with a freaking crown on my head and acting like I'm the queen of the world here. And I also did my makeup a little different.
I covered her viewfinder obsession in my last video, but it's important to establish here that in the content of both women, it's very obvious that they are.
Don't get me wrong, if my skin was that smooth, and since I am a white person, that white, I would not be unhappy. But if that's what I have to do to have skin like that, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. In no way, shape, or form. Yeah, Alyssa, it's Foodie's filter. Yeah, because I think Milk Tea... No, I don't think. I know. There's a... Milk Tea reacted to a clip of Foodie turning the filter off for a brief moment. And she's like... The whole time the filter's off, Foodie's looking at herself, obviously. And she's like, oh my god, my skin doesn't look like that in real life, you guys. And she's like critiquing her own appearance without the filter, but saying with each critique, it's not like that in real life. And Milk Tea said, I forget exactly how she put it. She put it in a much more elegant way than I will. But it was basically, you have seen yourself with a filter on for so long that you don't know that's not how you look. Wow, Lucy Jane. A few days ago, she, being Foodie, adjusted her filters to get rid of the bulgy eye and then said, there, fixed it, like she had cured the medical issue making her eye do that. Yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Winter Seas, yes, Alexis. Sorry. She also... I don't know if she definitely has that problem. I was actually going to start reacting to her, but then she pulled all her shit. Alexis is very much the same way. She doesn't look anything like her pictures in real life because everything is filtered. And even when she decided to put up her I'm not fat, you guys, clapback video, she was using a filter. Like you can't even clap back without a filter on. I mean, that's literally the problem, where like you don't look like your picture because you're so filtered online. When you're in someone else's lens, you are unrecognizable. Excuse me. I can have skin like that with filters. That's true. I try not to filter too much or at all. I don't know if you can use a filter on OBS. I was like, what the hell is the name of this program? Nerfy has all of Alexis's stuff. Yeah, but if she's not going to keep making... Nerfy has everything. Nerfy is the grand library at the end of the world. Scoot. Anyway, if Alexis isn't going to keep putting stuff out, I'm not going to bother getting invested in it. So... Didn't expect the level of filters. Yeah, right? That was crazy. I didn't know that was Alexis. I thought she had just shanghaied two random people into hanging out with her that when she went to the gay bar. But nope. You think the iPhones automatically filter and you hate it? I suspect that my phone does as well, but it makes me look nice, so I'm gonna leave it like that.
obsessed with staring at themselves. Another factor which makes their content so similar is the way they speak. Somebody comments on a Eugenia Cooney video words to the effect of, "This is not vocabulary a 30-year-old woman would be using." Let's be honest, neither Amber or Eugenia are known for their mastery of the English language.
I used the wrong word.
So, yeah. But my God, sometimes it is tragic to watch. Listen to Amber talking about fitting into a chair at a Billie Eilish concert.
We were worried because the arms doesn't go up, right?
Doesn't go up? Doesn't go up? I don't mean to shame her for her lack of education, but I can't help but chuckle at some of the ways that Amber talks.
Excuse you, Rachel. Amber almost got a degree in criminal justice. She is higher educated than I think you think she is. Amber has posted. Yeah, I gotta get my Vlogmas up. She posted again? She put 2 videos out today or just the one, Stevie? Anyway.
If you want to see more of these, I recommend a video called Amberlynn Reid versus the English Language, which is by a channel called The Fupa Tales. This video,
I do like the Fupa Tales sometimes.
It's just a compilation of Amber's crappy vocabulary. It's quite funny if it's taken tongue-in-cheek. Eugenia has vocabulary issues of her own. The girl says the same words over and over. It's actually kind of worrying.
She just straight panty flashed the fucking camera. I'm not playing it back. She just straight flashed the camera. Like, am I crazy? Did I anyway. Anyway, I've been told that she does that shit though. That's one of the things she does, is that she's like Foodie used to be, where Foodie pushed TOS by doing shit like that. So just the one? Okay. I've watched it. I've heard Nerfy rage at it. And your brain is fat. That's the thing. She did, yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm not nuts. Never GED and some college. Look, man, your level of education doesn't actually like mean anything. I'm not trying to be mean. I know people with PhDs that I think are dumber than rock. You know? And I've met people who have never pursued college whatsoever. And I can talk with them all goddamn day.
Trying to sit through a video of hers is kind of like pulling teeth. To research for this, I watched her video called Trying On Anime Outfits. We actually ran it through an AI, and she says the word like 396 times in one 27-minute video. That works out to an average of once every 2.7 seconds. I was going to subject you to a compilation of all the times Eugenia Cooney says like in this
I would sit through that
video, but
just because I like that kind of irony.
I'm not that.
Is that irony? Sorry.
That mean. Amber has the same issue. Somebody actually saved me from doing the work on this one because they comment underneath one of her videos saying, "You said the word like 181 times in this video, once every 5.66 seconds. Another commenter says, "Bro using like before each word. Do you know how many times you said the word like? Oh my god, Amber, you said like 1,000,000 times. I promise you don't need to use that word so much." We ran a load more Eugenia Cooney videos through an AI and the results are hilarious. We made this table to show the word repetition in her videos and
we're gonna look at this. This is Eugenia Cooney. I think I said it right that time. Valentine's, Jeffree Star. Amazing, pretty cool, super, just like, cute. Cute. Kinda. Alright, here's a problem with like and they are verbal pauses. And I don't know exactly why like is the way that it is. I think it's very much female heavily used by women more than men. But the point is, it's become part of language. I can't even talk right now. So, because I do it too. I'm pretty sure if you took one of my normal length videos and ran it through whatever AI this is, I probably say like, probably that just the same amount of time as Eugenia does in her videos, to be frank. So. And then I also stumble over my words. Your kids to read early. Yeah, reading is important. Yeah, I need to eat some fat apparently to get my brain going again. Here we go. Yeah, that might be it, Hillary, but I feel like I was saying it before I saw the movie, but it could be a Berenstein Bears moment. Because, like I said, I say it a lot. And the problem is once you get started, it's just snowballs. You just keep doing it. I have a friend, an adult friend. Like, they are an adult, as am I. So we have adult conversations, and every once in a while, for no reason, I lapse into using like a lot, and they'll just point it out to me, and they're like, "Aren't you an adult?" Oh yeah, see, I just did it twice there. Anyway.
And damn, look at this. That's crazy, right? The amount of times she uses the same word over and over again in a video is astonishing. It's like the whole video is just filler. And sure, we all use these kinds of filler words and vocal disfluencies when we're speaking, but I do think the sheer amount of these used in these two women's content is quite telling. But what exactly does it tell us? Well, I think it tells us that neither of them put that much effort into their content, which is...
I think the reason why Eugenia hits me so hard and Amber doesn't, like, I'm equally shocked. But I'm not actually. I'm equally amazed. But Eugenia shocks me. It's because she's a walking skeleton. Like, I have seen full ass skeletons laid out on a table, sans skin, and that's, it's just, it hits me. Shut up. I ran out of words. There was a good NPR article. I've noticed that one of my big ones is "so there's that," so. Yeah, I know. I stopped my sentences halfway through too.
Is another similarity they have. And yes, of course, they're free to film whatever they like and release whatever they like. Not everything needs to be flawlessly planned out long-form commentary. But I think the lack of effort from both, particularly from Amber, is really quite surprising considering that this is their literal job. Check out this clip from a recent Amberlynn video where she says,
"This is not a get ready with me. This is literally, I'm trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or more like 3. I'm trying to eat, do my makeup, and film, because these are all things I need to do. And I just feel kind of rushed. I'm just like combining them all together."
To be honest, all of her videos feel like this. Vaguely rushed, kind of shitty, and just a bit blah. Frankly, they're duller than watching paint dry. The videos are often just clips thrown together, sometimes in a completely random order. There's no evidence of effort or design from Amberlynn. Something that did make me laugh is on an Amberlynn Reid video where she's sitting in front of a huge clock. Somebody comments, "How fitting that she's sitting in front of a clock that's comically large and doesn't work." I thought that was so funny. Somebody else comments with reference to this being her job. You couldn't take 20 minutes out of your day to comb your hair before you film yourself for the world to see.
That's how I feel about Anna. There's also a difference between using like as a pause and using like and then taking a pause after like before continuing. That's true, it does draw attention to it more. Oh, sorry, idiot. Which, yeah. Yeah, I didn't get a formal minor, but basically my minor was in osteology. I liked it. I don't do wet works though. If it's fleshy, I don't touch it. She went for a walk. You guys remember the Kate Moss, yeah, joke from Family Guy way back in the day? Who was dating her? Oh, Chris was dating Kate Moss, and the joke was he couldn't tell if she was around if she stood sideways because she was so thin she vanished, and then like a wind came and carried her away because she was effectively just a piece of paper. Amber basically has a more exaggerated version of your... Oh, do you have a Valley Girl-esque? See, the reason why Amber's is so exaggerated though is because hers is fake. She's faking it. Anna, I don't know about that, Femmarie. There are several videos where I'm just like, but not recent videos. That might be Candida, and I have thought that because I'm like, seeing Amber doesn't have the same visceral kick as seeing Eugenia does. And yeah, Candida says, I think it has to do with we perceive Eugenia as sick and we have a harder time perceiving Amber as sick as well. Yeah, and I think maybe the thing is like seeing people like Eugenia out in the wild, especially in like the Midwest, you don't see people like that unless they're sick. So you have to specifically go to like the hospital to see people like this. But rotund people going down the street, living their life, that's pretty common. You know, we see that daily. My filler words are cuss words. And that's also a good point, Lucy Jane. Adulthood scares Amber, so she wants to talk like a teen to stay a teen. Adderall. Yeah, Anna's put together when she's doing... If you see Anna done up to the nines, she's probably going to try to sell you something. She's faking it. Yeah, it's just a fake accent. Not a bone in sight on Amber. Nope. I'm trying to think. Like her elbow? No. Maybe her elbow. Maybe. Yeah, smug and smarmy. I think that's that's what hits me first. That time period that we can't talk about.
But this is your job though, right? This is even funnier when you take into account the fact that in almost every single video, Amber begins with a comment on her appearance. For example, in her video Why I Stopped Drinking, she says,
so I was hardcore cuddling with the fur babies, and as you guys know, I am allergic to cats. So my eyes earlier were super red, and now that's why they're kind of swollen, and I have fur all over me.
And in her video We Need to Talk, she starts it by saying,
I know I like to point out the obvious, but my hair is a mess.
And even in her video The Truth, where she's talking about how her literal cat has just gone missing, she still bothers to say,
I did just get out of the shower, so my hair is wet and a mess. Don't mind that.
And if you think about it, she's at work, right? This is how she pays Emily's bills. I mean, her bills, excuse me. So how come...
Rachel has come to the dark side. Come to us, Rachel. We have cookies. What did Smug say? What did Smug say? Probably I heard. Yeah. Verbal fillers. I wondered if Rachel was going to hit on that. So obviously Rachel is up to date with the modern Amber verse. So I like her. Yeah, swollen. You can see her teeth, bro. Okay, we didn't say they were healthy bones. All right. That's cartilage, Adderall. The part that we see is cartilage. Wow, let me just like yell into my mic. I'm so sorry. If my sound is ever horrible doing these, you let me know. Lucy Jane. See, that's the thing. Yeah, I didn't realize. Jesus Christ, she's 30? I didn't know how old she was. I thought she was very young still. So yeah, Amber's arms in her last video are... I've never seen her arms like that. Ever. I was shocked. I had to stop the tape. And I was like, am I seeing this correctly? That was bad. He yelled at you about cartilage. No, I didn't yell. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. Ale arms, forearms, or her forearms. Wait, whatever part of this arm. I'm educated. Whatever this part is. She has so much mass hanging off her arms and going like where my sweater stops. You can't see it because I'm off camera, but it hangs so much. It's like a whole ass other person. I'm not being mean. They've both been on YouTube for 11 years. See, this is why I'm like, it'd kind of be interesting to go through the eras. Good times. I don't know how Amber is walking. Well, she's not. Much.
She doesn't bother to clean herself up before filming. How hard is it to present yourself nicely for what is basically work? It's so obvious that she just doesn't care.
Ooh. Does she put it in all the way? Because you got to see the whole arm.
Enough to make the effort. The thing is as well, if she starts the...
You can't see... I don't know why my cursor doesn't show up anymore, but because I have it set to allow it to do that. Oh, maybe I don't. Hang on a minute, guys. Yeah, capture cursor. It should be doing that. So I don't know why it's not doing it. Anyway, see, I knew I'd fuck it up. Oh, come back. Where did it go? Why is it completely gone? There we go. Anyway. Yeah! This is what her arm looks like. That is astounding. Do you guys remember was it Alive? Yeah, the drunk life she did when she was still with Wifey. I think it was the first one she did while she was still with Wifey. And somebody in the live chat was like, what's up with her arms? And Amber's like, yeah, seriously, what's up with these? That was big. This is something. I don't know if this is lipedema. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Colin makes me quest everything. Well, Christy, you're funny. What is the shirt made out of? Very resilient fabric. Where did her arm go? Yeah, exactly, guys. All right, anyway, we've stared at this long enough.
The video by mentioning her appearance. Why not quickly fix your appearance and then film? If you feel the need to excuse it, then why don't you feel the need to quickly sort it out before putting the camera on? I know sometimes she doesn't do this, but even in videos where she starts with her hair and makeup done, she still often finds something to apologize about.
So before anyone says anything, I know my bed is like a horrid mess. Like, look at it, like, girl, get my shit together.
It's odd, especially as being on camera is her literal job. So unfortunately, it relates directly to what she looks like. To Eugenia's credit, she doesn't seem to have this issue. She always looks half dead. I mean, put together. And even though she doesn't comment on her appearance in videos or apologize for it,
I appreciate the snark. I like it.
I still feel like the content itself is kind of half-baked. As I've said already, she repeats herself like mad. In her video where she tries on Barbie outfits, she says the word yeah or yeah so many times. She also just says basic stupid stuff in her videos. For example,
I feel like glosses can definitely just kind of like make your lips look a lot like shinier sometimes.
It's like, oh my god, groundbreaking. And
the other problem with Eugenia is other than her eye makeup's a little too much for me, but that's because her eyes have sunken into her skull. I like the clothes she wears. I like her style. That's kind of I like that style. I wouldn't wear it much, but I like it, right? And like the lipstick that she had on or whatever the fuck it was, I'd wear that color. I'd wear the shit out of that color if I knew what it was and could afford it. But yeah, I can't.
And listen to what she says in this video where she bakes with her mum.
Whoa, butter. That's the butter. It looks really like buttery.
I mean, way to point out the obvious, Eugenia. I suspect that part of the reason this content has done so well on the internet, despite its dull nature, is partially because Eugenia and Amber have both consistently posted for lots of years and built up a relatively loyal fan base. But I also think that it's because both of these women have a kind of watching a car crash in slow motion vibe to their content. And you kind of can't look away. I think this is mainly because of the extreme bodies that they both inhabit. Although they are at opposite ends of the spectrum, they both evoke a pretty serious reaction. Seeing footage like this, you can't help but have that, oh my gosh, what the heck am I looking at feel. When it comes to their content, they both absolutely shamelessly monetize their EDs, with no concern for the effects or the ethics of doing this on their viewers.
The other thing is, I've heard I have heard people accuse Eugenia of this, is that much like feeder fodder, there's apparently the exact opposite, and Eugenia plays into that, and that's why she does certain things. Who was I watching that made that argument? I was a long time. It might have been Omegon. It might have been Omegon, but it was a long time ago, like before I started reacting. So a year and a half at least. So long, you guys. Sorry if you're struggling. I'm sorry I'm not catching everything. To say, I believe Eugenia's decline. Yeah, no, I would totally believe Eugenia's had a decline in cognitive abilities. I don't even mean to use big words there. It's just I honestly believe. I mean, she's not eating. Where does the energy come from? I'm sure she sees herself as sexy, comment and Kim, and that's why it's terrifying. Like, she looks in the mirror and sees nothing wrong. So I struggle to shoulder press 40 pounds. I can't imagine how she washes her hair. I don't think she does. Yeah, Idiot Witch, when she picks up the bin, and earlier when she was bowling, apparently that's like a thing for people. They like to watch the struggle. Anyway.
Going to talk about their influence a little bit later in the video. Another thing that's true for both of these YouTubers is the kind of strange and peculiar relationships that they both have with their mothers. When Amber was young, she was placed into the foster care system because of her mum's addiction issues. I'm not sure exactly how the timeline of that played out, but what we do know is that from the years 2008 to roughly 2020, Amberlynn Reid didn't see her mum at all. In her video, Seeing My Mum for the First Time in 12 Years, Amberlynn details what her relationship with her mum used to be like.
Me and my mom were actually always really close, even with me being in foster care. Like, I've always been that unconditional, like, my mom hung the moon and she painted the freaking...
But you don't believe in the moon. Is that why you don't believe in the moon? Sorry. I'm not, but I am. What else was I gonna say? She's badmouthed her mom plenty in her videos in the past. So this whole my mom can walk on water bullshit, sure.
Sunset, like, so no matter what we went through in the past, we always had that bond.
I don't have enough information to be really sure what Amber and her mum went through, but interestingly, in this video, Amber also claims that her mum has always felt guilty for her size. Amber says,
she has always blamed herself for my size. I just don't want her to do that anymore because, you know.
Was she trying to contour there? Is that what that was? Or is she still painting her foundation on? I don't know why that bothers me as much as it does, because it shouldn't, but it does.
It's my choice, like what I put in my mouth and such.
This sentence from Amber is really interesting because it appears to show her, for once, genuinely taking responsibility for her choices. And she's not acting like it's everyone else's fault, which, if you've watched Amber for a long time, you'll realise is kind of a big deal. She has a tendency to blame other people for her problems. Although we don't have too much evidence for the relationship between Amber and her mum being strained exactly, there are still a few things we can look at. The first thing is when Amberlynn outed her mum's sexuality on her YouTube channel. In her video, Come to Pride With Us, she says,
"So we're going to Pride. Yay. You excited?" Yeah, I'm not the only gay person in this room right now.
Her mum reacts with,
"Amber."
You can see her mum's shock and surprise at being outed. She clearly doesn't feel entirely comfortable about this. And Amber says,
"Don't worry, I'll edit it."
But she doesn't, because here I am showing it to you now. I think that outing someone on camera, suggesting that you're going to delete it in the edit, and then uploading it to YouTube is very, very wrong and quite dodgy.
If it's entirely possible that she recorded it, said, I'll delete it, and then at some point her mom said, no, go ahead, it's fine. I think she did actually say, no, it's fine, leave it in. That's different, but you should probably maybe show the part where the person's like, nah, it's fine, you can leave it in. Because otherwise, it looks like you're a giant-ass dick. Sorry. My swearing, I apologize. And also, it's easy to believe that Amber would do that because we've seen her do it before.
I understand that everyone's relationship with their own mother is different. My mum is a fucking gem. I love that woman with my entire heart, and she's going to watch this video, so I think that will make her smile. I don't really feel comfortable making sweeping comments about Amber and her mum's relationship. I'm sure there's all sorts going on there that we don't know about. But I do hypothesize from what I've seen that Amber and her mum have more of a friendship than a mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah, but yeah. That's why I said I don't think their relationship is that weird given the circumstances. You know, Amber clearly has a fantasy family in her head, and when she was living in Oklahoma, she was trying to fit her mom into that fantasy family. And since, she could use her mom in the time because she needed a ride, her mom was the coolest person ever. We've watched Amber love bomb people, right? I think her mom actually thought that they were rebuilding a relationship and that she was connecting with Amber. Winter seas. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
All this to say that clearly there is an element of the relationship which is somewhat dysfunctional, in my opinion. This is also absolutely the case for Eugenia, but we're going to tackle that in a minute. I mentioned earlier.
Is Rocky okay?
Earlier that Amberlynn Reid claims that her mum feels guilty for Amber's size, and this got me thinking, to what extent is it likely to be her mum's fault that she's overweight? What role might her mum have played in this? So, true to form, I found a study which talks about how parenting does in fact affect childhood obesity. It was done by GM Ling and Mekdes Geberarium. It's called Embracing Parenting Roles in Childhood Obesity. The researchers write, parents serve as critical role models to shape the children's healthy lifestyle behaviours, including eating behaviour, physical activity, sleep and screen time. Parental poor feeding practices, indulgent parenting style, parental stress and unsupportive home environment are identified as home and parental characteristics contributing to childhood obesity. The influence of parents on childhood obesity starts from preconception and across the entire childhood to even early adulthood. The findings of this study show that although we can't pin Amber's size on her mum, it is absolutely true that if a child is fat in their early childhood and formative years, that parents absolutely do have a responsibility to act on that, as they are the only ones who have influence over the child's habits and environment.
I am a nurture person. I think there's some nature, but I think nurture is more important than nature. Especially since I plan on adopting. So I do, when I see obese children, young children, well, even into like preteen and teens, it's not their fault. You know, they're being fed that way by their parents, and it's not like the parents are doing it out of malice most of the time. That's just how they eat also, you know. I rarely see two parents that look, or a mom that looks relatively physically fit who is toting around an obese child. I'm sure it has happened, I can't recall. But I do see obese parents with obese children, and typically sometimes they're obese dog. They overfeed their animals as well. So this is what we see. Anyway.
I know there are hundreds of things which may have influenced Amber's weight, but to say that it's entirely not her mum's fault is a bit dodgy to me, and the research doesn't really agree with that. Sure, now she's an adult, she is free to make her own choices, but certainly her mum would have had an influence, or should have had an influence, over Amber when she was young. So when Amber says that her mum blames herself for her size, maybe her mum kind of should. The pair give some weird, funny kind of content moments on Amber's channel, like this one where they go luggage shopping together.
Can I squeeze? Look, I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head. Yes, I am. Oh,
I'm blocking you.
This is just silly and funny, and it is kind of nice to see them having a good relationship and mucking around, knowing that Amber didn't see her for 12 years. But there definitely is still something slightly dodgy about their relationship. One person who has received absolutely loads of commentary, and rightfully so, is Eugenia's mum. If Amber's mum is attempting to take responsibility for Amber's side,
I mean, that's yeah. Lee decided to use bombs, but yeah, I mean, that's the whole yeah. Nature loads, genetics loads the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. It's the same thing. And no, this isn't I just ordered the slime like Friday, so it's going to be a minute before it gets here, which makes me sad. I would like to play with it right now, but
then I think Eugenia's mum absolutely has to as well. There are so many threads I could pull out with this topic, and I do need to be careful because my last video got age restricted, which was just really frustrating, and I don't want that to happen again. But it's clear that the relationship between Eugenia and her mum is very odd. In the video Day Out with My Mum, there's lots of moments that are like crazy awkward. Just look at how these two stare at themselves in the viewfinder and don't really say anything at all. In May 2023, Eugenia and her mum made a video where they bake cookies together. Now, there are all sorts of weird things going on in this video, believe me. I'm going to tap into just some of them now. The first one is, as I've already mentioned, the unbelievable awkwardness that exists between these two. It's like they barely know each other.
They're kind of already looking like cookies. Like it's like cookie consistency.
So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it should be an experience.
I cook. I have a good cook. I think, but bacon is a whole new book.
This is like different.
One commenter suggests that this video should be called "My Mum Bakes Crumble Cookies While I Body Check in the Viewfinder for Half an Hour and Try to Remember."
Yeah.
Remember what an oven is. Somebody else comments this, which made me laugh. There are several weird things about this video, and not just the butter moment, which I've already mentioned.
Whoa, butter.
That's the butter.
It looks really like buttery.
Eugenia just kind of stands there, floating around. She's not.
I mean, if she's being sarcastic, you know, because like, I could see myself doing that if I were like giving my mom shit or something in the kitchen, and you know, wow, butter looks pretty buttery. I mean, I can see myself doing that as a joke, but I think the implication here, is that this wasn't joking. I will show the slime when it gets here, yes, because it's cool. It's all food themed, so. What am I doing? Yeah, okay.
Not
We got about 15-ish minutes, and then we're gonna bail here, but
doing much baking at all. She's just kind of parroting what her mum says.
Are we making this cookie? We're making it right now.
Oh, okay.
She hardly touches ingredients and rather just kind of like narrates what's happening. The pair often speak over each other and frankly act like two of the most awkward TV hosts in the world.
Lower it. Turn it off and lower.
Okay, I mean, I think that.
why does she have gloves on? Is she trying to do Paris Hilton here? Didn't Paris Hilton in that damn television show, didn't she like cook with gloves on, for like fancy gloves, not like food safety gloves?
Like, it kind of looks like frosting.
Okay, lower it down.
It's like they've been thrown together and don't really know who's supposed to be doing what. There is zero chemistry there for a mother-daughter relationship. She's pushing 30 and is having her mum bake her own birthday cookies as she stands around bewildered at literally everything going on around her and constantly body checks herself and talks like a 7-year-old. Eugenia's mum also barely looks at her in this video. I actually watched it through, which was quite...
It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to look at her. She looks... Yeah. All right, this is the link to the video because I saw somebody say they haven't seen Rachel before, so you should. She's got good videos.
Quite tiresome, to be honest. And it's true that there are barely any moments where Eugenia's mum actually looks at her daughter. It's so strange. This is actually the case in most videos that Eugenia and her mum are in. For example, in the video Spending the Day with My Mum, her mum is talking in a store about what makeup they need, but she doesn't look at her properly. I get that this could be because it's pretty awkward having a camera in your face, but even in videos where they're sat down talking, there's basically no eye contact between the pair. The reason I mention this is because it shows this...
That is weird. It's not even like there's no... It's not even like there's no eye contact. It's like her mom is purposefully looking anywhere except at Eugenia. And Eugenia's clearly looking at her mom. And in the makeup one, her eyes were moving real fast. And you could see that she was clocking the camera, clocking Eugenia, and then very quickly looking at anything else that she could look at. Yeah, Winter Seas. That was the other thing about the cookies. I don't think Eugenia wasn't helping because she's an idiot. I think she's terrified of touching food. So, and even ingredients that will become food.
like strange vibe between them. I wonder if Eugenia's mum can't stand to look at her because she doesn't want to face up to looking at what she failed to stop. This reminds me of how Amberlynn's mum facepalms when she looks at Amber eating chocolate candy in the car. We're going to come to that in a minute. The way the pair speak to each other is not only kind of awkward, but there's also a severely uncomfortable, childish vibe to it. We will cover the notion of childishness a little bit later in the video. But listen to how they speak to each other when they go to this nature park. The way Eugenia speaks back to her mum, they both have this insanely infantile vibe in their voice.
Here we are!
The nature center, pollinator gardens. Oh my gosh.
Pollinator gardens.
Oh, this is the best.
Pretty cool, right? Oh, look at the beautiful butterflies, Mom.
I love this.
The butterflies are so pretty.
Yeah, it establishes food sources for bees, butterflies, hummingbirds.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, all our favorite
I need
things.
one of these.
Me too.
Mike was telling me these are weed.
Oh, no, I guess not.
Maybe I shouldn't be pulling them
Well,
up.
maybe we shouldn't if
Let's
that's
go
what
see
they're
what
gonna
else
bring.
we can learn.
All right, let's go.
There's a hilarious clip from an...
And then the hand. Like you're trying to get a child's attention.
Audience Geordie.
See, now it's getting super depressing.
Live stream. Just watch Geordie's face as he listens to how these two talk to each other.
Got the windmill. Wow. Oh yeah, look at that bear. I think we'd see him. Oh, bird walks. No.
Wow, look at the bear inside the store. Didn't think we'd see that. You would not talk to your mother like that.
I would totally talk to my mom like that. But she knows I'm joking. She knows I'm joking. Because sarcasm is my love language, so. It's almost like they role play back and forth and don't know how to have an authentic relationship. Yeah, it does feel very... See, when Amber's out with her mom, because Amber was still love bombing her mom at the time, their relationship seemed very friendly, and I think her mom did feel like she was connecting with her. You know, it's not like the best relationship on the planet. Watching these two together, I don't think her mom... I'm not saying her mom doesn't love her and doesn't like her, you know, she's still her mom. But I don't think her mom is comfortable with Eugenia. Sarcasm, yeah.
she's talking to her like she's 3 years old.
And listen now to this clip where Eugenia's mum asks if a store has Gucci makeup.
I don't know. I feel like they're always moving stuff. Yeah, they do have Gucci. Yeah, Gucci over there, yeah.
However you want to interpret this weirdness between Eugenia and her mum, you can't deny that it's there in her content. Eugenia's mum has been accused of being an enabler, and I think that that is absolutely true. And another...
How could you deny that? How could you deny that? You heard Eugenia get mad at her mom. It sounded so uncomfortable. Say it sounded like Elder DV. She'd have to run the house, Una, because I can't think of a parent who would allow their child to get like that, even though she's an adult. You know, I can't think of a parent who would allow their kid to get that way without a very dark reason. And I don't know, because I know this is how much I know about Eugene. I've seen like a handful of things. Yeah, I Salem witch trial logic. I remember. I don't know if they're both broken, but like, I don't feel like I'm sorry. I don't feel like a well-adjusted person would allow their child to get like this. Eugenia's been this way for a very long time. Now, granted, she had a little bit more meat on her bones back when I saw her the first time, but there's no fucking way in the world her mom is like not enabling this, because, and where's her fucking dad? Does she not have a father? A parent who doesn't care and sees it. Well, that's why I'm saying a very dark reason for allowing your kid to get like that. Eugenia has a brother? See, I know nothing. So her mom lives with Eugenia, not the other way around? Yeah, how do you just walk around ignoring the obvious? I think in the same one that I was talking about Eugenia and the struggle busing, there was clips of the mother defending Eugenia's appearance, and they're like, she's perfectly healthy. In what fucking world, woman? Nobody well-adjusted says that. Because literally nobody well-adjusted looks at Eugenia and is, I'm so sorry for that pause screen, looks at Eugenia and is like, oh yeah, that's a healthy 30-year-old woman. Fuck no. Denial is a hell of a state to be in, yeah. Live in their family mansion in Connecticut. He does seem to enable when he's around. She takes her places, like...
The place where we see this is how often Eugenia's mum comments on Eugenia's appearance. She does this in a way which I think for somebody with an ED must be unhelpful. In the video Day Out with My Mum, her mother says,
All right, lovely, beautiful girl, where do you want to go?
Where do you want to go, Mom?
In case you didn't catch that, that was, all right, lovely, beautiful girl, where do you want to go?
All right, lovely, beautiful girl, where do you want to go?
Looking at her daughter, just looking at her right now, the way she looks, the danger she's in.
She's tall. I didn't realize how tall she was.
And then hearing her call her lovely, beautiful girl just feels off to me. It's like she's in some way validating Eugenia's malnourished form. A little later in this video, in the footage I'm showing now, we hear Eugenia's mum call her beautiful again. This footage contains copywritten music, so I can't play the audio, but the whole thing is pretty striking. Seeing her daughter looking how she does, the bright fluorescent chairs, the awkward way she won't look at the camera or look at her mum properly, the state that she's in this clip, it's just all so unnerving. One commenter observes this and writes, her mum, happy and cheerful, daughter, literally dying. Someone else says, how is her mum so calm and happy? It's crazy, your daughter is literally dying in front of your eyes. I'll put another couple of interesting comments of this ilk on the screen now. Her daughter is looking anything but beautiful. She looks like she's not far from meeting her maker, if you get what I mean. And
Eugenia has 6-inch boots. Okay. Well, she's one up in me. I can't walk in heels. I'm gonna call it here. Oh, what chapter are we on? Well, actually, I'm going to call it here. Y'all should go watch the rest of the video by yourselves. Give her a review since I did this. I should not have done this. But Eugenia, it's funny because I am physically uncomfortable watching Eugenia. Amber, I don't like the way she looks, and it's very obvious that she's not healthy, and she's the exact opposite, like literally. But it doesn't make me physically uncomfortable until I see shit like her arm like that. Or the picture of her at the laundromat where she just looks like a melted Hershey's Kiss. And it's like, that blows my mind. But yeah, a lovely, beautiful girl validating the ED. Exactly. I'm getting welcomed. Discuss amongst you guys. All right. Yeah, we're going to call it here. I got to go feed my cats. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for another one of my lives. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a link at the top to to join the Discord if you would like. And once more, this is the link to the video. So go do that. And yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. And I don't have anything else to say. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to say goodbye. I gotta go eat dinner. I'm so sorry. Bye.